lives and breathes and has a passion for sports. A man who breaks everything down in the sports world and gives you everything you need to know. Plus a bunch of stuff you probably don't need, but you'll still enjoy it.
You can't handle the truth.
Here is your host, Dan Kasper.
Prime time. Prime time.
What up, everybody? Good morning and happy Monday, June 12th. Dan Kasper Show on the air. Radio dials, you got a couple of those at 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available online at sportstalk1051.com. You got the Google and Alexa home devices, the Sports Talk app, and video stream up and rolling on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Hopefully, all had a fantastic weekend and you are ready to hit up a brand new week here. Brand new week. Almost already midway through June, believe it or not. What do we got on the good old game plan here for this morning? Well, hopefully you had a good weekend because the Brewers sure did not have a good weekend, being swept by, record-wise, baseball's worst team, the Oakland Athletics, at home in Milwaukee. Brewers, yeah, after winning the series against Baltimore, maybe getting some confidence going and all that stuff, but following it up by getting swept by the lowly Oakland Athletics. Yesterday was an 8-6 loss. Freddie Peralta gets charged with the loss. Saturday, 2-1 loss in 10 innings. Friday, 5-2 loss. Brewers now in second place in that NL Central, full game behind the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates 34-30. Milwaukee 34-32. So, yeah, not a good weekend for this Brewers team. We are now under 100 games left. Less than 100 games in the regular season here. Brewers sitting there at 34-32, 66 games into the season. 96 left. We're under that 100 mark there. So, yeah, how do you assess this team with just 96 more games left to go here? Still just one game back, and with this division, the NL Central still kind of up for grabs, I guess, but this is a tough one with the. We got the trade deadline August 1st. So, I mean, you've got over a month yet. I mean, we're not even into July. We're just, June 12th right here. And I know if you go out on the interweb and look at, Google trade deadline, MLB trades, you've got, all these articles, blogs saying this team should do that, yada, yada, yada. I don't have a good gauge right now with what the Brewers should do. Should they stay in pat? Should they try to upgrade? I mean, I don't know what this Brewers team should be doing at this point. I don't know what to make of them. I mean, you have a good series like Baltimore, and then you followed up by getting completely swept by baseball's worst in your home park. That's inexcusable. Come on, guys. Off day today for the Crew as they get set to take on the Minnesota Twins for a couple of games on the road, and then they'll return home again to face the Pittsburgh Pirates this weekend. Maybe a series that will determine who either stays in first place or maybe overtakes first place, maybe increases a lead for first place. I don't know, but you look at the Pirates. Looking at who they got, they just beat the Mets yesterday 2-1. But they take on the Cubbies starting tomorrow. And they get an off day today here too. So Brewers fans, I guess I hate to say it, go Cubs. Go Cubs right now. But man, the Brewer, I don't know. One of baseball's most confusing teams at this point. I don't know. Kind of tough to gauge here. But with this Brewers team, one game back from first place and division still up for grabs. Do you want to see this team be aggressive at the trade deadline? Do you want to see this team make some moves and try to improve this roster? Because maybe you've got the mindset of, hey, get to the postseason and anything can happen. We've seen it how many times? We've seen teams go on this run, just get hot at the right time. Treading water here. Maybe this is the optimistic approach, but you're treading water a little bit. Put yourself in a position to make a little bit of a run towards the end of the season, get into postseason, feeling good, feeling confident. That's when you make your run. But do you make moves to try to improve that roster to make that run, or do you sell? I mean, that's going to be the question from now until August 1st when it is that trade deadline. About a month and a half. That's going to be the question out there. What do the Brewers do? Are they buyers or are they sellers? And what do you think that they're going to be at this point? I don't think anybody's really necessarily picking, World Series or World Series caliber or anything like that. But maybe you're of the side too. It's like, hey, like we were just saying, look at Philly last year. Nationals a few years ago. Get in as a wild card. Nobody really expecting a whole lot. Go on a run and see what can happen. That's baseball. We'll chat some Brewers coming up here in just a little bit, but under 100 games already. We're already under 100 games. 96, I believe, is the exact number left here for this Brewers team. So how do you assess it? What do you think? Or should they be buyers? Should they be sellers? I know we got a month and a half here, yeah, but at what point do you think, at what point in the schedule or when you're looking at schedule, you got Minnesota for 2 games, you got Pittsburgh, you got Arizona, one of those teams that might be deciding, hey, we might have to be some buyers here because they're easily one of the most surprising teams in all of Major League Baseball right now. But, Pittsburgh, Arizona, Cleveland, the reeling Mets, Pittsburgh again, Cubbies, Reds, right all before the All-Star break. I think the All-Star break's probably a good benchmark to see, okay, let's assess this team, see where they're at. Maybe that's when you decide whether they become buyers or sellers. I kind of look at that All-Star break because after the All-Star break, you got Cincy, you got Philly, you got Atlanta, Cincy again, and then Atlanta again. So that's going to be you got Atlanta 2 series right after the All-Star break, right before the trade deadline. That's going to be a tough couple series right there, mixed in with Philly and Cincinnati at that point. So, but we'll talk some baseball, talk some Brewers and such coming up here in just a little bit. Steve Stricker, man, dude is playing some incredible golf. I know we were talking about it after, he won the senior PGA championship. AmFam championship was just this past weekend down in Madison, the tournament that Steve Stricker helped bring to Wisconsin. And the dude finally won that tournament, and he continues his hot 2023 season. And he's playing some of his best golf probably throughout his entire career. And at the end of the month here, we've got the U.S. Senior Open in Wisconsin, Century World, Stevens Point over there. How is Steve Stricker not the favorite to win that thing? And if he goes out there and wins that thing, and you're looking at what he has done, and I know it's a Champions Tour, and it's, some people will knock it because it's not the PGA Tour, but when you look at what he's done so far this year on that Champions Tour, this guy is playing some incredible golf. And when you break a Tiger Woods record, that's not some bad company. So the record he broke. And Tiger's, during his peak, during his heyday, like the early 2000s, right? 2000, 2001. During 2000 and 2001, he won 4 straight majors, the Tiger Slam, but he also recorded a record 52 consecutive rounds under par. Think about that. 52 consecutive rounds under par. A lot of people thought maybe that wouldn't happen. And Steve Stricker said, hold my beer. Steve Stricker broke that record. Steve Stricker has now shot 53 straight rounds under par in PGA Tour sanctioned events. That was on Friday, so actually it's been extended here a little bit, but yeah, now it's Tiger. Or now it's Steve, excuse me. Steve over Tiger. Steve having a little fun with it too, saying that I may have to text him and remind him that I just passed him. Send that on Friday and such. But man alive, Steve Stricker. So, I mean, if you are one of those people, maybe you got a group, maybe you're just going individual over to Stevens Point and checking out the U.S. Senior Open. I don't know. Like, if you're asking me to pick right now a winner, I'm picking Steve Stricker right now. And honestly, I don't feel that's going to be changing anytime soon. But man, the Wisconsin native right now is just killing it. He is just killing it right now this year on the 2023 season. I was looking it up earlier this morning. He hasn't finished outside the top 10. He's been top 10 finishes so far this year. That's how let's bring it up here. Steve Stricker, see if I can, did I save it? Yeah, I saved it right here. So you're looking at it. If we got the Zurich Classic of New Orleans, which was back in April. All right, back in April. He shot 7 under, but he missed the cut. 7 under, missing the cut, 66 and 71. But since that was back in April there. But you're looking at the 2023 Champions tournaments. So that Zurich Classic was a PGA Tour tournament. You're looking at the Champions tournaments. His worst finish since January has been tied for 8th. Tied for 8th back in March. Since then, well, first he started off the season at the Mitsubishi Championship, Hawaii over there, first, tied for 2nd, tied for 8th, tied for 2nd, tied for 5th, 2nd, tied for 5th, first, tied for 2nd, first. Dude is just, I don't know, he's unreal right now. Unreal. So, anybody going to the Senior Open though? Going to the U.S. Senior Open? It's already up in a couple weeks at the end of the month here. So, we'll maybe hit that up and chat a little bit about that. NBA Finals tonight. Will the Nuggets close it out? Will they secure an NBA championship over the Miami Heat? Can the Miami Heat come back from a 3-1 deficit? Can they do that tonight? Can they extend this series, or will the Nuggets close it out? We'll hit that up a little bit here. We've got tomorrow also. Can Vegas hoist Lord Stanley Cup's trophy tomorrow night? So right now Vegas holding on to a 3-1 lead in that series. So maybe in the next couple days here, the NBA season will wrap up and the NHL season will wrap up with new champions. We'll hit that up. It is a Monday, so your studs and duds from the weekend. Let us know what your studs and duds were. You can text those on over to the Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Hit me up with a tweet at DANKASPER, Facebook.com/Kasper Sports, or the video streams as well. We'll do a little MMQB, a little Monday morning quarterbacking, and plus a little motivational Monday as well. So got that. I believe we'll be hearing from sports director, WEAU sports director, Justice Cleveland, coming up in the next hour. So I haven't heard that he won't be on, so I'm assuming he will be on here this morning. So we'll catch up on some of the local stuff with him, including We got state baseball coming up here. I know this past weekend we had some soccer teams falling just a bit short heading over to the state tournaments, but still, congrats on great seasons. That's Eau Claire Memorial, Rice Lake, Rice Lake and Regis McDonald. Just one win shy. Memorial Tennis. They fell in the state semifinals on Saturday too. The Express, if we go back to Friday, 2-1. They did fall yesterday to the Minot Tots, Hot Tots, but they're 6-6 so far this season. Got a couple more games against Minot today and tomorrow, off day on Wednesday, before they return home to Carson Park, taking on Duluth starting on Thursday. So, but let's get things rolling here on this Monday morning. Let's hit up a little more baseball talk here with the Brewers. Brew Crew coming off of that sweeping by the Oakland A's. Very disappointing weekend for the Milwaukee Brewers after coming off a series against Baltimore, feeling good, taking that series, hopefully using that as momentum going in and taking the series against Oakland. That was my talk about earlier last week. They better have won that series against Oakland. Heck, even sweep it. And nope, went the complete opposite way. Now 1 game behind Pittsburgh for the division. Under 100 games left to go. We still got about a month and a half until the trade deadline in baseball. But now you're going to start to hear probably a little bit more. Should teams be buyers or sellers? I personally I want to see where the Brewers are heading into that All-Star break, which would be their last game before the All-Star break is July 9th. So we're a little under a month right now. But at this point, what should the Brewers do? Stand pat? Look at making some moves to bolster the roster because, hey, the division is still for the taking. It's anybody's division at this point. So go and take it. Or you're like, no. In a World Series team, sell. I don't care what Philly did last. I don't care. Sell. So let's talk about it. We'll take our first break here this morning and open things up on the leadoff, talking a little Milwaukee Brewers after these quick words.
Got a take on today's topics but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking.
Right now at Hurlburt Heating and Plumbing, get a free indoor air quality package with a UV light and MERV 16 filter when you purchase a new heating and cooling system. Talk to Hurlburt today about no-cost consultations and no-interest financing, serving the Menominee, Eau Claire, and Hudson areas since 1959. Call Hurlburt Heating and Plumbing today and ask about your indoor air quality package. More details at hurlburthp.com. That's hurlburthp.com.
So, I have a question for all you guys out there. Why is it that I see you hauling all kinds of stuff in your trucks? Lumber, ATVs, furniture, and everything is strapped down tight. Except you. I mean, come on, fellas. You're just as important as your buddy's blue plaid sofa. Buckle up.
Pickups rock. They also roll. Buckle up in your truck and arrive alive. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
All aboard! The Eau Claire Express are back. They're taking the field once again this summer, and you can support Eau Claire Express baseball at historic Carson Park all summer long. General admission tickets and grandstand tickets are available, and you can check out the rest of the 2023 Express schedule at eauclairexpress.com or on their Facebook page. Enjoy summer baseball with the Eau Claire Express.
Now that we've been able to get outside and get a little bit more active, have you started to feel those aches and pains again? Maybe it's finally time for you to stop getting that yearly reminder. Reduce your pain and increase your ability to do your daily activities with ease with the help from Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. All you have to do is visit cvosm.com to request an appointment, and the incredible team at Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine will help you live that pain-free and healthy life today. Hunters, are you looking for a brand new firearm to take with you to the woods? Or maybe you want to save a little money and are looking at getting a high quality used firearm? Whatever the case may be, if you're looking for a rifle for, say, deer hunting or shotgun for your turkey hunting adventures, look no further than Tilden Gun. Tilden Gun features a wide selection of new and used firearms. And if you're looking for a particular firearm, Tilden Gun will help you find that firearm for you. And plus, they have a wall of handguns for you to check out as well. And you know you're going to need some ammo, targets, cases, scopes, and other accessories too. Well, Tilden Gun has all the accessories you need to properly outfit your firearm to hit the woods. Tilden Gun has the biggest selection, all at the best prices in the Chippewa Valley. So here's what you do. You could visit tildengun.com to see what all Tilden Gun has to offer. And you can stop by Tilden Gun and check out their amazing shop and see what they all have in store. Visit Tilden Gun today at 12427 98th Avenue, Chippewa Falls.
The following is a message from the future, sent by Jamie from Progressive.
Back in 2023, you could get help from Progressive online, through our mobile app, or over the phone. But here, in the future, we can communicate with you through telepathy. Now, I don't think anyone in 2023 has mastered telepathy yet, but if you have, then you can totally read my thoughts right now. And yes, I did leave the oven on. Wow, you're good at this.
That was a message from the future. Get the help you need today with Progressive.
Do you smell smoke? I really should go.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers.
Bandana? Check. Boots? Check. Gloves? Check. As a motorcycle rider in Wisconsin, you may go to great lengths to protect your image. Just be sure you're protecting yourself, too. Wear a Department of Transportation approved helmet. Perform safety checks on your motorcycle. Know the traffic laws and don't take risks. Motorists and motorcyclists can work together to achieve zero preventable deaths on Wisconsin roads. Zero in Wisconsin. Together, we can save lives. Learn more at zeroinwisconsin.gov.
Sponsored by Wisconsin DOT.
You want to feel important.
You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
You want to feel like you belong.
We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it.
We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers.
We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more.
When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it.
We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors.
From the lakeshores of Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota,
the fertile fields of Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa, to the wide open plains of North and South Dakota.
We are here for our hometowns.
And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
More than the scores. More than the news. It's Sports Out the Squeaker. The Dan Kasper Show.
It's one of my favorite times of the year. We're grilling out. We're hosting those backyard barbecues. We're going to maybe some picnics in the park, enjoying the nice weather that we actually get for a few months here in good old Wisconsin. So why not make your outdoor dining more enjoyable and easier this year? You can do that by heading over to our good friends from Hy-Vee in Eau Claire for all of your shopping needs to fully enjoy your outdoor dining this year. Whether it's meat for the grill, pasta salads for the cookouts, veggies for the snacks, Hy-Vee has it all for you to really enjoy your outdoor dining this year. So what the heck are you waiting for? Head on over to Hy-Vee in Eau Claire today. Get your shopping done for those backyard barbecues, outdoor cookouts, whatever you got going on here. Got Father's Day coming up this weekend too. If you're going to be doing something, got something planned for that dad in your life, grandfather, father figure, uncle, husband, brother, whatever it may be. Gonna do a little cookout and such. There you go. Head on over to Hy-Vee. All right, get your supplies over there. Let's get things rolling here this morning on the leadoff. Let's talk a little baseball to open up things. Brewers, not a good weekend. Not a good weekend for the Crew, and that's just maybe kind of putting it politely here. Getting swept by, record-wise, baseball's worst team. Oakland Athletics now have 17 wins on the season thanks to getting 3 against the Brewers this past weekend. Heading into that series, they had 14 wins. 14 plus 3 tells me that's 17. So there you got it. There's your math lesson for the day here. But I don't know what else we could say besides it was just yuck and it was poo-poo and whatever word that we want to use to describe that won't get us in trouble on the air. It was bad. It was ugly. And it was inexcusable for this Brewers team coming off of that series against Baltimore, feeling some confidence, feeling all right, let's use it. Were they overlooking the Oakland Athletics? I know some of the players said, no, we weren't. Using the whole, everybody pays attention to the records and you're just not necessarily watching. And, every excuse in the book. But it's hard to look at this and watch what was going on and be like, maybe there was a little bit overlooking or, looking past or taking, overlooking the Oakland A's there just a skosh. It's hard not to think that because when you have baseball's worst team in your home park for 3 games and you can't win one of them, that's bad. No, it doesn't matter how you spin it. It's bad and it's inexcusable. And it can't happen. It was just a bad weekend for the Brewers. Now, the optimistic approach is like, okay, dust it off. Rebound here with 2 games on the road against the Twins. You're back at AmFam Field to take on the now first place Pittsburgh Pirates for 3 games. Then you welcome in the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are right now, in my opinion, the biggest surprise in Major League Baseball. I mean, we got a couple of good ones out there, but when you're talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks battling it out with the Dodgers for first in the NL West, that's a pretty darn big surprise. I mean, right now, you're looking at Arizona, 8-2 in their last 10, winners of 5 in a row. They are 3.5 up on the Dodgers in the National League West, for crying out loud. How are the Diamondbacks not the biggest surprise in Major League Baseball right now? Yeah, Tampa Bay up there doing their thing. Baltimore still in second in the AL East. Texas up 5 over Houston. Texas has spent a boatload of cash the last couple of years. So even without Jacob deGrom right now, they're putting up some major runs. Their offense has been a key factor in this whole thing. Miami, you want to put them as one of the biggest surprises? Yeah, they're top 2, top 3, second place in the NL East. But the Diamondbacks sitting there at 40-25. You're thinking, okay, let's get some confidence rolling. We got an interesting stretch of games coming up here at our home park for the Crew, and you lay an egg against the Oakland Athletics. It was bad. I don't know what else do you say about this series. Willie Adames saying people just see the records, but they don't watch the games. The A's pitchers, they were executing every pitch in this series. If you go and watch the at-bats against their starting pitcher, he was painting every pitch. He was going corner to corner, up, change-up, slider. They pitched really well. They're big leaguers. They're here for a reason. They executed this series, and we didn't. Here's another mark that's going to be always attached to the Brewers all season long until they shut it up and change this narrative that they got going out there. This was from Kurt Hogg, who covers the Brewers for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, though. The Brewers have faced 19 true lefty starters, excluding those openers, initial outgetters, or whatever you want to call them. So they have faced 19 true lefty starters 15 times now. They have gone at least 5 innings and allowed no more than 2 earned runs. That's it. Whatever voodoo thing that the Brewers or the teams have, left-handed pitchers have over the Brewers can't figure it out. I don't know. They need a little Jobu in the clubhouse. They need to sacrifice a live chicken or what? Wake up the bats. Something. But they got to figure out that left-handed pitching issue because if you're a team facing the Brewers and you've got a stack of left-handed pitchers, why wouldn't you be throwing them out there? You got a must-win series. You got a must-win game. Throw out your left-handed pitcher because you know what? Brewers can't hit them, for crying out loud. That's a wild number. Brewers have faced 19 true lefty starters. And 15 out of those 19 times, most pitchers have gone at least 5 innings and allowed no more than 2 earned runs. Inexcusable. Pathetic. You ain't going to win a lot of games with that. I mean, for crying out loud. What are you doing? Now teams, I mean, if they haven't done it already, and some are, you can kind of see it's pretty obvious, but the deeper you get into the season with playoff spots on the line and positioning and all that, opposing teams are going to line up their starters to really exploit that number from the Brewers. Why wouldn't you? You'd be dumb not to. I saw that yesterday when I was posting. I'm like, oh, my Lord. Goodness gracious. Now, every team's not going to be able to throw out every single one of their left-handed pitchers. That's just not going to happen. Right now, when you're looking at this series with the Twins, this quick 2-game series, Brewers are going to be going up against a couple of right-handers here. But can darn tootin' that if there's teams that have the option to put up multiple left-handed pitchers, starting left-handed pitchers, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. So we're under 100 games left now in this regular season, believe it or not. 96 left to go here. And you're starting to hear some more chitter chat about teams that should go all in at the trade deadline. Trade deadlines, they got about, month and a half? August 1st there. So, but you're starting to hear, these teams should be buyers. These teams should go all in, or these teams should start selling or be sellers. And you got this Brewers team here now who's 34-32, 1 game behind the Pittsburgh Pirates for first place. And we got time to figure this out. I mentioned it already, but I'm looking at the All-Star break. Last game before the All-Star break is July 9th here, so under a month now. It's maybe kind of that benchmark of when you figure out what you should be doing. Whether they are going to be buyers or whether they are going to be sellers. And right now, I'm really confused. I'm really undecided on what the Brewers should do. If we had to make a decision now, which thankfully we don't, we have plenty of time to, but let's say like if the trade deadline was this week, let's say it's in a couple of days here or something like that, later on this week, and you had to decide what the Brewers needed to do, I'd be like, I have no idea. On one hand, you can be like, okay, this division is clearly up for grabs. No one is running away from this thing. It's gone back and forth pretty much the whole season between Milwaukee and Pittsburgh. The Cardinals are still 8 games back from first place, sitting there at 27-39, yet feel like there's still a lot of teams, or maybe some teams still like, still don't count out the Cardinals. Just don't do that. They could go on a run. Even though they're dead last in the division, everybody's still, I feel like, looking over their shoulder, catching, making sure they're keeping tabs on the Cards over there. But I wouldn't know what to do. On one hand, you've got, okay, make a run, just get to the postseason. It's a completely different season. We've seen it how many times those teams make those runs. They get to the World Series. Philly last year, Washington, the Nationals a couple years ago when they lost that wild card game to the Brewers. That was a few years ago now. Anything can happen in the postseason. Like, okay, maybe just if they're in that position, you had to decide now. If the trade deadline was like now, this week, grab a couple arms, maybe another bat or two, and let's roll the dice and see what happens. We only got maybe our starting pitchers for another year. Maybe even this is their last year. Talking like Corbin and Brandon Woodruff. Willie Adames. Who knows what his long-term future is going to be like for the Brewers. And Brewers may be looking at like, okay, you know what? We got, like a Bryce Terang who could play shorts. Sent back down over the last week with Luis Urias back up and such. We got younger options. So maybe part of it is like, okay, maybe try to go for a little bit more, but we're not going to trade our top prospects, but we're going to do some things to bolster up a little bit here and there. Not a big bolster up. We're not going to be acquiring this, huge, this player that's going to cost a boatload of cash or prospects or anything like that, but we're just going to do a little bit, just a little bit, and see if we can get on that little bit of a run. On the other side, it's like, do you sell and be like, okay, let's start the I don't want to say rebuild. Start to retool earlier? Or do you just kind of stand pat and roll the dice and see what you get? See what pops up. And honestly, I kind of feel like that might be the pick if I had to make one, which thankfully we don't. We've got plenty of time left here, but I read the articles, MLB.com or CBS Sport or wherever. It's like, oh, these, trade candidates here. These players could be on the move, or these teams should make a move for this, that, the other thing, or this person, all that. And I look for, okay, do they got the Brewers anywhere? Do they have the Brewers, being a buyer for this player, or do they think that they should be sellers? Is Corbin Burns, is there any more rumors about him possibly being moved and part of a trade package before the deadline on August 1st? I read them, you read them, we all pay attention to that. But I'll tell you right now, I'm confused with what to do right now. I'm glad I'm not Matt Arnold, because you look at it on paper and it's like, okay, we got Corbin Burns. Hasn't maybe pitched up to the Cy Young expectations we've had this year, but you know what? Still a solid pitcher. We know what Freddie Peralta can do. Yeah, we've been hit with the injury bug with Brandon Woodruff and Wade Miley. Let's just tread some water until those guys are back. Once they're back, that's kind of like making a trade in itself, because you're getting those guys back into your rotation. It's like, all right, bolstering up the starting rotation. All right, that's a plus. But then you're just looking at this offensive lineup and you're just kind of scratching your head. Like, what else do we do? Where else do we make some upgrades? Now maybe Jesse Winker coming back from his rehab down in with the AAA. I know he's been hitting some dingers down there. Maybe he can get into a groove and finally hit to the level that Brewers fans and the Brewers themselves were kind of expecting. Maybe. Possibly. It's what if. I mean, right now, is it fair to say your best offensive, maybe most consistent offensive player this year for the Brewers has actually been Christian Yelich? Is it fair to say that? I mean, team leader in average, 258. Got 26 RBIs. The leader in the clubhouse is Brian Anderson at 32. Home runs, he's at 8. Leader in the clubhouse is Rowdy Tellez at 12. Just a few back there. OPS, number 1, 757. Christian Yelich. On base percentage, number 1, Christian Yelich, 354. I mean, is it fair to say that Christian Yelich right now has been the Brewers' most consistent offensive player right now? He scored the most runs with 44. I think it's fair to say that. That's not necessarily a knock on Yelich or such, but it's like, here we are. Maybe it's more of a narrative of like, hey, the rest of the offense has to help out Christian Yelich now. I don't know, but it's a head scratcher. But thankfully, I know the articles and the blogs and talking points, they're going to be, increased day by day, week by week, up until August 1st about whether these teams should be buyers, whether these teams should be sellers, or, this player could potentially be available by the deadline. Corbin Burnes is probably going to be the biggest name attached out there for the Brewers as potentially as a seller out there. But again, if you're still in the hunt for the division, for a playoff spot, even though you're kind of hovering around 500, you stand pat. You maybe even make a couple moves and like, okay, we're about 500. We're a couple games over 500, but we're in this thing. We'll make a couple of smaller moves out there. And maybe that's just a little bit of a spark. Not a big spark, but just a little bit of a spark that can help us get on a run in September into October as the playoffs start to begin. Good thing we got 96 more games left in this regular season and about a month and a half left until the trade deadline here. But get ready. We're going to see more talking points all out there. So, all right, let's take a quick break. We'll finish up the first hour after these few words.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
Now that we've gotten some decent weather, we're now more active outside, mowing the lawn, golfing, working on completing some projects. But with all that, that also means you're probably getting a little sore in the back, neck, and shoulders. It sounds like you need a quick adjustment, which means it's time to go visit Dr. Logan at Shepke Chiropractic. With us all being more active this time of year, chances are that we're going to need a few adjustments to our neck and back. That's why at Shepke Chiropractic, their goal is to work with each patient to achieve their goals and perform to their fullest potential in the capacity that their life requires. So don't let your neck or back pain slow you down on your busy summer. Let Shepke Chiropractic help you get adjusted so you're able to get those rounds of golf in or complete those outdoor projects this year. And Shepke Chiropractic has 2 locations to better serve you. All you have to do is visit ShepkeChiropractic.com to learn more and to schedule your appointment. Your journey to a healthier and more fulfilling life starts at Shepke Chiropractic.
So, I have a question for all you guys out there. Why is it that I see you hauling all kinds of stuff in your trucks? Lumber, ATVs, furniture, and everything is strapped down tight. Except you. I mean, come on, fellas. You're just as important as your buddy's blue plaid sofa. Buckle up.
Pickups rock. They also roll. Buckle up in your truck and arrive alive. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
The Shoe Doctor is known for quality footwear. Remember, the Shoe Doctor can keep your feet comfortable during all the different outdoor weather and activities here in the Chippewa Valley. Work boots, casual shoes, sandals, and more. From brands you trust like Keen, Merrill, Chaco, and Dansko, and that's just to name a few. Located on Claremont Avenue in Eau Claire, you can also visit them online at ShoeDoctorFootwear.com. The Shoe Doctor, quality footwear for work, sport, and fun.
All aboard! The Eau Claire Express are back. They're taking the field once again this summer, and you can support Eau Claire Express baseball at historic Carson Park all summer long. General admission tickets and grandstand tickets are available, and you can check out the rest of the 2023 Express schedule at eauclairexpress.com or on their Facebook page. Enjoy summer baseball with the Eau Claire Express.
Hi, this is Josh Smith from Union Trailer and Power Equipment. Looking to upgrade your mower this year? Now is the time to upgrade, as we have a large selection of Aaron's and Gravely's zero-turn mowers in stock with some great sale prices along with 0% for 48 months or large cash discount. Get into a new Aaron's zero-turn mower for as little as $92 a month with no money down. Don't forget about our free delivery within 20 miles of Union Trailer and Power Equipment, located right in the Chippewa Valley. As the only Steel Elite dealer in the area, we have a gold certified tech to work on all the Steel chainsaws, backpack blowers, string trimmers, and any other two-cycle engine issues you may have. Give us a call today at 715-930-1066. We have expanded our rental department this year. We'll be renting out many different trailer options with skid steers and mini excavators as well. Give our rental department a call today to schedule your next rental. Union Trailer and Power Equipment, a local family-owned business located right in the Chippewa Valley off Highway 53 at the Malby Street exit. Visit us online at uniontrailer.com.
Quality products and expert service. Union Trailer Sales.
One person can make a difference in someone's life, and that person can be you that's listening right now. How? Well, you can make a difference in someone's life by supporting the Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity. And the best part about supporting the Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity is that you can help make a difference in someone's life in a few different ways. Like there's donating to the Restore. Do you have a couch, desk, or leftover building supplies that you don't know what to do with? Well, by donating them to the Restore, you're helping keep their shelves stocked for items for customers to purchase, and proceeds of those purchases go to help fund home builds in our area. And that's the second part. By shopping at the Restore, those proceeds go to help families in need in our area. Plus, you never know what kind of treasures you may find. And you can also volunteer with home builds, home repairs, and fundraising with Chippewa Valley Habitat for Humanity. Yes, you can absolutely make a difference in someone's life. Just visit cvh4h.org to learn more.
Do you remember all those times playing in the backyard and daydreaming of either playing on your favorite sports team or dreaming about all the goals you wanted to accomplish in life? We still do that today, and that's why we created Backyard Dreams. We want to help people accomplish their goals, chase their passions, and achieve their dreams. Whether someone's dream is to attend a ball game, someone needs a new pair of basketball shoes, or a Little League team needs help going to a tournament, we want to help, and we need your help as well to help our community. To learn more about Backyard Dreams, just visit sportstalk1051.com.
All right, let's finish up the first hour here. We just got a few more minutes left. But first, now that we've gotten some decent weather here for a while, plus we got some much needed, a little bit of rain on Saturday, but you get the drill. Probably been spending a lot of time outdoors, maybe doing a little bit more golfing out there. Yeah, I need to get out more. I've only been out once. Inexcusable. But with all that, that also means you're probably getting a little sore in the back, neck, and shoulders. Yeah, ditto here too. Sounds like you need a quick adjustment, which means it's time to go visit Dr. Logan at Shupke Chiropractic. With all of us being a little bit more active this time of year, chances are is that we're going to need a few adjustments to our neck or back. That's why at Shupke Chiropractic, their goal is to work with each patient to achieve their goals and perform to their fullest potential in the capacity that their life requires. So don't let your neck or back pain slow you down this summer. Let Shupke Chiropractic help you get adjusted so that you are able to get those rounds of golf in or complete some of those outdoor projects this year. And Shupke Chiropractic has 2 locations to better serve you. Just visit ShupkeChiropractic.com to learn more and to schedule your appointment. Taking a look at across Major League Baseball right now, just kind of a little bit of an update on where things stand. We mentioned that the Diamondbacks right now, Arizona Diamondbacks, playing some really good baseball. Winners of going last 5, 8-2 in their last 10, have taken a 3.5 game lead over the Dodgers in the NL West right now. Dodgers just 3-7 in their last 10. Diamondbacks might be one of the biggest surprises in a positive sense across Major League Baseball. But I think if they're not one, they're probably top 2, top 3. One of the biggest disappointments in Major League Baseball is also a team from that same division, and that is the San Diego Padres, who are 3 games below 500, 4th place in the NL West right now. San Francisco is the 3rd place team here. But with all that money spent and all the high expectations for the Padres this year, 4th place in the NL West, and you're under 500 with under 100 games to go. Yeah. We spent plenty of time on the NL Central with Pittsburgh in first by 1 game over Milwaukee. The NL East, we mentioned that for a hot second. Atlanta still in first, but again, you want to talk about one of the biggest surprises in Major League Baseball? It's the Miami Marlins. I was almost going to say Miami Heat there. Miami Marlins, who are also 8-2 in their last 10. And might be a little bit closer to first place if Atlanta also hadn't gone 8-2 in their last 10. But look now, you got the Philadelphia Phillies, who are 7-3 in their last 10 too. Maybe starting to creep up just a skosh. But Miami, 37-29 on the season, 2nd place in the NL East. They're off to almost halfway through the season, almost to the halfway mark here. Texas, they're up 5 games on Houston in the AL West right now. As we mentioned, that money, they spent a lot of money the last couple of years bringing in some offense. Jacob deGrom, he's out right now. They haven't gotten a whole lot from him at this point, but the offense has been a big reason why Texas right now in first place in the AL West. Their run differential is at a plus 149, which is tops in all of Major League Baseball. 149. They've scored 400 runs so far this year. They are the only team to have scored at least 400 runs. The AL Central and the NL Central, pretty similar. I don't know which division you would necessarily term the worst right now. I mean, if you go based off of records, you might say the AL Central is worse because you've got your first place Minnesota Twins, but they're at 500. So your first place team's at 500. And right now they've gone 4-6 in their last 10 and creeping up is Cleveland, the Guardians, just 1.5 back now from Minnesota. So with this upcoming series against the Brewers, it's just a 2-game series with their border battle over there. But you got Cleveland kind of approaching up there a little bit. Cleveland begins a series against the Padres tomorrow. Might be a big 2 games for the Twinnies coming up here against the Brewers. It's actually kind of I know it's only 2 games and that doesn't make or break this 162 game season, but it's kind of an intriguing series, potentially a big 2-game series for both the Twins and the Brewers. Brewers maybe to try to battle back and get first place, or stay, within striking distance. Minnesota to try to stay in first place. But, for all the talk about the NL Central, with, at least they got 2 teams who with winning records there, and the AL Central's got, none, just one 500 team in first place. And then you got the White Sox, 4.5 back. You look at this thing with the AL Central, Minnesota at the top, Cleveland 1.5 back, White Sox 4.5 back, Detroit 5.5 back. I mean, I guess all those teams are kind of in it. NL Central, kind of the same way here too. Maybe the only team, Kansas City, is 14.5 back. I don't think anybody's really counting on them to maybe potentially win that division there. AL East, I mean, not a lot has changed. You got Tampa Bay at the top. They're second in some of the offense. We talked about it earlier last week. Tampa Bay and Texas, kind of one of those teams is either one or 2 in a lot of statistical categories. But 48-20, Baltimore They're 5.5 back. They're 41-24. Yankees in third. Toronto, they've gone 7-3 in their last 10, playing a little bit better baseball. 7 games over 500, yet in fourth place. Boston sitting at 500 in last place in their division. When you look at the AL East, I think, we talk about what's the worst division in baseball, whether it's the AL Central or the NL Central. Really not an argument, I don't think, unless you can make a case for another division. But you look at the AL East in terms of wins and losses, it's got to be the best division in baseball, right? You don't have any losing teams. You don't have any teams with a losing record in the AL East. Boston's in last place with a 500 record. All right, we already got one in. We'll be back in just a few minutes after these news updates with some sports nuggets of the day.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. From the 715 newsroom, it's Morgan McCarthy with your news on Sports Talk 105.1.
Well, good morning. Here's what we're learning today as we plug back into a new week. An update from a deadly crash that began with a wrong-way driver on I-94. 715 newsroom coverage with John DeMaster.
It happened just after midnight yesterday on I-94 near Menominee. The State Patrol says a 33-year-old Eau Claire man was driving the wrong way on 94 when another car hit him head-on. The 33-year-old man was killed. A 27-year-old woman and 2 boys, ages 6 and 8, were also seriously injured. The driver of the other car was taken to the local hospital for minor injuries. The Dunn County Sheriff's Office and State Patrol are both investigating that crash. I'm John DeMaster.
In Chippewa, no one's saying exactly what caused an apartment fire on Saturday, but we can tell you crews rushed to a building on West Elm Street just about after 6 a.m. Saturday. Crews said both flames and smoke were coming from the building. Now, everybody inside was able to make it out okay. No one hurt, although investigators are now looking for what started that fire. When it comes to 911 calls, there are a lot of mistakes in Marathon County, but the advice stretches across Wisconsin. Many of the calls that the sheriff in Wausau says were 911 calls coming in were accidental. In fact, 113 accidental 911 calls on Saturday alone. Now, many of those are blamed on phones that automatically dial 911 if a power button is pushed too many times, or maybe somebody swipes the screen too many times. Sheriff's offices across the state say they're seeing similar accidental calls. And you can avoid that by checking your phone's emergency settings. Sometimes when phones do updates, either Apple or Android phones, they'll kind of get this glitch in them. You can check that settings and see where yours are at for the emergency setting. In other headlines, we look to the political stage. Maybe it'll be a 3-term Tony. Governor Evers joking about a run during a 3rd term at the Wisconsin's Democrats convention over the weekend. And when it comes to the other side of the aisle, the Republican convention happens this weekend in La Crosse. Well, you may have noticed if you were at the pump, there's another plump. Gas prices trending back up. AAA says the statewide average here in our state is $3.56 a gallon. I know we saw $3.55 driving in, so it seems to be on the uptick again. And a hero's arm and a hero's pitch. Milwaukee's hero school bus driver got a standing ovation. Nick Williams, who also threw out the first pitch for the Brewers over the weekend. She was a school bus driver from the Milwaukee area who pulled 37 kids off her bus earlier this month just before it burst into flames. Williams said she was just doing her job and all the kiddos on board were okay. Well, it is June Dairy Month, so you know what those milkshakes do. And apparently Khalees can bring all the boys to the yard. The singer allegedly dating award-winning actor Bill Murray. Yeah, did you hear this rumor? Ironically enough, this is actually the song that Kasper was hoping to play as his walkout music the next time they get together to play, beer ball in Medford. What was it, Kasper? My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard and they're like, for Sports Talk 105.1, I'm Morgan McCarthy.
A clear sky through the overnight has given us a pretty chilly start to the morning, especially in some of our lower elevations, as a lot of us are starting off in the 30s and 40s. Otherwise, we'll have some sunshine throughout the morning before clouds start to roll in, eventually giving way to a few chances at some showers, topping out into the mid-70s. A few more chances at some showers continue through the overnight, lows dipping to the mid-50s, with intervals of clouds and sun in store for tomorrow and highs in the low 80s. I'm Skywarn 13 meteorologist Mike D'Andrea.
Good morning. It's time to take a look at some farm news on Sports Talk 105.1. County fairs, apple picking, farmers markets, you name it, Wisconsinites enjoy it. And the latest tourism data says people from out of state like it just as much. Wisconsin's tourism industry saw a record-breaking year last year, and according to that latest data, the tourism industry generated $23.7 billion in total economic impact, surpassing the previous record year of $22.2 billion set in 2019. all 72 counties experienced an increase in total tourism economic impact. Tourism supported 174,600 part-time and full-time jobs across various sectors of the industry and generated $1.5 billion in state and local tax revenue. Wisconsin's ginseng growers are working to expand export markets as they face trade barriers from their largest ginseng buyers. Wisconsin is number one in the United States in the production of ginseng, accounting for up to 95% of all the ginseng produced in the country, according to DATCAP. And Marathon County is the top ginseng growing county in the state, producing about 95% of Wisconsin's annual crop. But there are two barriers to get into the top trade market, which is in Asia. The first are tariffs, and the second are permits to ship to China. And another issue is competition with other countries that are coming in at a cheaper rate. In addition to finding other markets, the industry is also looking at expanding domestic markets through programs like the Allison Dairyland program. The barrier ginseng runs into in the United States is that herbal medicines are not a custom in American culture as it is overseas. And you may ask, what is ginseng good for? Ginseng may boost energy, lower blood sugar and cholesterol levels, reduce stress, promote relaxation, treat diabetes, and more. That's a look at some of your farm news on Sports Talk 105.1. I'm Kristen Smith.
The brands you trust, prices you'll like.
It's grillin', chillin', and spillin' time. Whether it's cleaning up the grass stains or the barbecue sauce or keeping the produce fresh or your favorite beverages cool, Amundsen's has you covered for appliances throughout your home or cabin, so you can do what you really want to do this summer and just chill out. Amundsen's in Eau Claire, Chippewa Falls, or Rice Lake or Hayward, or shop us online at Amundsen'sAppliance.com.
And the best place to buy is Amundsen.
Want to stop engine problems before they start? Pick up a can of Seafoam Motor Treatment. Seafoam helps engines start easier, run smoother, and last longer. Just pour it in your fuel tank. Seafoam is available where automotive products are sold.
Crank it up.
Are you ready to take? Get up! Get up! He's on his way. He's our man. The man, the myth, the legend. That's Dan.
And now, the Dan Kasper Show.
All right, second hour kicking off on this Monday morning of June 12th. Appreciate you making us a part of your start to a brand new work week here. Thanks for stopping by. Coming up, we're going to chat a little golf. Steve Stricker, man. What else can we say about this Wisconsin native here? Another W for him. This time finally winning the tournament he helped bring to the to his state of Wisconsin, the AmFam Championship yesterday. We'll get back to some more baseball talk as well. We got the NBA Finals. Will we get a champion crowned tonight? Or can the Heat extend this series? We'll hit that all up. We got Studs and Duds. Who is your Studs and Duds? You can text those on over to the Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. He's my stud for this morning. He's JC and EC, Justice Cleveland, sports director extraordinaire, world traveler, or I should say state traveler extraordinaire, Justice Cleveland. How you doing, big man? It's been a hot minute. How you doing?
The world of Wisconsin.
I like
it. I have traveled from side to side twice this week.
Well, hey, man, I mean, prep sports season starting to kind of wrap up here, and you've been busy on the streets, hitting it all up, and that's starting to kind of wind down here just a little bit. I know we got baseball coming up this weekend and such, but it's been a busy last few weeks for you guys.
Oh, yeah. I always feel like it's almost like a training camp for me, for not even training camp, just getting into shape from after a long winter of sitting around.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
From mid-May to this point is a crazy, crazy trip, but it's been fun. And yeah, it's the final week here of the prep season. And then we go into summer for about a month and a half before football practice starts.
Man, don't put it that way, man. Holy moly.
It doesn't. Yeah, it goes quick.
Oh. Hey, just to kind of recap some stuff here, within the last week or so. I know, at this time last week, you were down watching some state golf with Eau Claire Memorial and such, and I know they finished second in the Division One. Parker Etzel ending his prep career, meet medalist. But just with you being there, what was it like? I mean, what was the course like? Obviously, Memorial had a terrific season. I think they won every meet that they were in up until the state tournaments. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think on their
I
team
think
they were
all but
undefeated.
one.
All but
All
one.
but one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man,
But-
what a run.
Yeah. Oh, it was a great season for them. A great, 2-season run to finish champions and runners up and back and get 2 medalists with Will Schlitz last year and Parker Etzel. But yeah, the course on Monday, the conditions were perfect. And, Etzel fires a 3 under at the Meadows course at Black Wolf Run, which is just amazing. And then he comes back and, 78 wins it because the next day, the pin positions were tough. The greens were fast. The winds had whipped up. It was cold, colder than it had been. It was in 80s the day before. And with that wind coming off Lake Michigan, it felt like the 50s. So it was such a tough setup for him to manage to win despite having a 5 on the third hole and a 9 on one of the par 5s. That just shows you the guts and determination. He is very even keel. You don't see a whole lot of emotion from him. If he makes a putt, you'll get a little fist pump from that once in a while, but he stays on such an even keel that he can battle back. I think he birdied right after getting that 9. That just tells you where his mindset was. And then on 17, when he hit that 40-footer for birdie to basically seal the deal for the win. That to me was really cool to be there because he had a big putt last year on 18 that basically put them in the lead as a team. And then him to come back the next year and hit a big putt like that on 17 to win the medalist honor. Parker Etzel, just congratulations to him. That whole team. Just what a run. Will Schlitz. We got another year of Will Schlitz. He was only a junior, so he's going to have another chance to get another state title and as an individualist and maybe as a team as well. Ben Christensen, just a great job as a senior as well. And then you had a couple of guys thrown in there as well that had done. Tyler DeBrucker was one of their 4 for most of the year. So yeah, just a good team and just what a run.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So elsewhere too, I know soccer this past weekend we had a few teams just a little bit short, falling 1 game short from advancing to state, but nonetheless some great seasons. That was Regis McDonald, Memorial, and Rice Lake. So, but congrats to their seasons over there. But we got baseball starting up this week. State baseball, Justice. Altoona and McDonald. Altoona got the 3 seed in Division 2. They're going to be taking on St. Thomas More. And then Division 4, we got McDonald Central, who got the 4 seed. So they're going to be taking on the 1 seed tomorrow already here too. So we got a couple teams representing the area down at state.
Yeah, first off with Altoona, for this team, this is just validation. I think it was 2 years ago that they won. This is when they were still in the Clover Belt. They won the Clover Belt title and then ended up losing in the first round of the playoffs. Just got upset, ran into a hot pitcher, and that's what can happen in the baseball playoffs. For them to kind of turn it around and each year make that step closer and closer. Last year they made it to the sectionals, and then this year to make it to state. It just, as seniors, that's got to be just the greatest feeling, is to climb that mountain and to get there. So who knows what they can do at state? St. Thomas More is going to be a tough team. You got Denmark, who's always there. Jefferson's the 4 seed. That's the other semifinal there. So it's going to be a tough road at state. But at this point, and I know their work's not done, this is a great accomplishment for Altoona. First time in over 10 years making it to state. So yeah, you got a lot of talent on that team. I believe 3 D1, if not 4 D1 commits now at this point. So, yeah. So it's great for them to make it there. And then on the other side, you have McDonald, a team that no one expected to be at this point. They go into the playoffs under 500 and then just make a run. The hitting and the pitching, everything comes together. And you see that in baseball a lot, where it's just like all of a sudden, you catch fire and everything is working for them. For them to beat Regis, which, I think a lot of us would have picked them to be at this point, getting ready to play tomorrow after the run they had winning a state title. That's nothing to take away from Regis. It's just that McDonald is just, caught fire at the right time. And yeah, they're going to face a tough matchup with number 1 Pentatonic. Oh my goodness.
I'm glad you tried saying that, not me.
Pentatonic.
There you go. See, you're better at that than I am, man.
Great start to my but yeah, I mean, to me, this is going to be it's going to be a tough game. But hey, if you can beat the defending state champs in a Regis team that was ranked, up near the top, if not the top, all season long, anything can happen when you come to state. And McDonald's had some good runs at state, so this isn't, as a school, this isn't somewhere they haven't been before, especially this year, as their school has been to pretty much every state championship you can name, especially on the women's side. So yeah, well, it should be fun to see what plays out here the next couple days.
Yeah, you mentioned, I know they just they fell short in a heartbreaker at state softball last weekend. Was it Pacelli that made that run late in the game, and McDonald falling a little bit short? But you're right, you kind of look back at the prep season 2022 2023, McDonald's sent quite a few teams there, basketball, softball, now baseball on there too. So that's a heck of a run for them.
Volleyball.
Yep. Good Lord,
yeah, I mean, and state golf. I mean,
Brandon's been busy over there, man.
Yeah, he definitely has. Yeah, McDonald Regis was at state golf as well.
Yep.
Andrew Bauer and Scuppsy both having top 10 finishes there as well. So yeah, I mean, it's been a great year for the Macs, and you could throw McDonald Regis in there as well. So state appearance there in football, and yeah, it's been fun. It's crazy how long the season is, but how quickly it goes. Thinking back to the start of the football season last year to now, this is it, the final 2 tournaments with state baseball and state soccer. And you were talking about soccer, credit to the Big Rivers as well. I mean, you had 3 teams had a chance to go state. They unfortunately all lost in the sectional finals, but with Memorial, Rice Lake, and River Falls, that just shows you what the battles are week in and week out. And then, to have Memorial and McDonald Regis both in soccer having a chance to go to state shows you the strength of the soccer programs in this area, that they're developing the skill very well, and yeah, it's leading to a lot of success.
Absolutely. And I know looking at this baseball, high school baseball schedule, I think one happy person is probably Dale Varsho that Altoona plays Wednesday, because the Express have the off day on that day. And I was talking to him last Tuesday, and he said, yeah, I might have to rent a car if they do go to state. Well, I think he got the off day, so that worked out perfect for him to at least catch game 1 of that game. So
I mean, it's going to be awesome for that school. I mean, again, that's they to lose in the first round a couple of years ago, and to validate and return and get to state. Yeah, that's a big mountain to climb, and they've done it.
Absolutely. So this starts baseball state starts right away tomorrow morning. So
no, they start today.
Oh, they start. That's right. Division 1 starts today.
Division 1, yeah, they flipped this. It used to be Thursday or Tuesday through Thursday, I think.
Okay.
And now they flipped to Monday through Thursday.
Well, how about that? Stevens Point, the 1 seed in Division 1 over there too. So
yeah, let's see what I mean. They had a tough sectional to go through, and I think they have a good chance of winning state.
Yeah. So all right, good update there. Appreciate that, JC, on the prep side of things. Now I want to ask you, going back to golf here, dude, the run that Steve Stricker is on right now for 2023. How I know it's a couple weeks away. How's he not going to win this U.S. Senior Open in his home state at Century World and such? I know you just golfed there for Media Day a few weeks ago and such, but he wins the AmFam last week. I was looking at the numbers earlier this morning in the first hour, JC. The guy so far in Champions Tour events hasn't finished lower than tied for 8th this year. He is on a fantastic, and then you break a Tiger Woods record of consecutive rounds under par. Anytime you break a Tiger Woods thing, that deserves a tip of the cap there too. But Steve Stricker, is it fair to say, is playing some of the best golf he's ever played throughout his entire career right now?
I would say after he turned 40, I don't think you kind of be hard to press to find somebody who has had a career 40, 45 even, like that he's done. Because like the tail end of his PGA career, he was playing his best golf. I mean, this is a guy who nearly lost his card.
Yeah.
In his 30s, he was taking special qualifiers, just barely hanging on, and then it just kind of turned around. And the next thing he ends up winning 12 times on the PGA Tour, and now has won 15 times, I believe, on the Champions Tour. It's been amazing, and I think he's, I think you got to put him in consideration for the World Golf Hall of Fame at this point for what he's done.
Completely agree. Yep.
And he's a Ryder Cup captain who won, led the team to a title.
Mm-hmm.
And, after that, people forget he got really sick.
Yeah.
Right after the Ryder Cup and it was on the verge of death and then came back, 6 months later and is winning tournaments. So it has been amazing. He is so fun to watch out there. He is so steady. I mean, that swing that he has, it's sustainable forever.
Mm-hmm.
There's no wasted movement. Everything is so fluid that I don't think it puts too much, strain on his body. He's so good with his wedges. He's one of the best putters. I mean, if Tiger Woods is coming to you
mm-hmm.
for putting lessons, there's something to say about your skill with that. So yeah, it's been amazing. Coming up now with the Senior U.S. Open at Century World in 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
He's got to be the favorite coming in.
Mm-hmm.
He won a state WIA state title at that course. Now, granted, that was
just a couple years ago.
But it has changed because it's changed in the 25 years since I went to school there. But yeah, I mean, he's got to be the favorite. The tough thing though is that's a 4-round title championship, if I'm not mistaken. These 2 rounds to maintain for 4 rounds. It's gonna be tricky, but I think he'll be able to score on that course just from walking out there. Not saying that I played at anything near what they can do. The scoring opportunities are going to be there for those players, and I think Steve Stricker, if he can just do what he does, and that's hitting great wedge shots in and sticking it 10 feet away and then making the putts, he's going to have a big chance there. But it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a really fun tournament with the amount of talent that will be there trying for that title.
You went to college at Stevens Point, UW Stevens Point. Just how big of an event is this for the U.S. Senior Open coming up in a couple weeks for that area? I mean, I spent some time. I lived in Plover for a couple years when I worked in Rapids and such. But you went to school there. You're more familiar with the area. Just how big of an event is this for that area?
Oh, I think it's huge, if not one of the biggest sporting events. I think they'll have. It really is. This is going to be a huge event for Stevens Point because, Wisconsin is a golf hub. And when you hear that there's a tournament somewhere in Wisconsin and a big time tournament, you're going to sell the tickets. And I think they're going to just come in droves to this. I think this is going to be, because I watched the PGA, the Senior PGA, and the crowds are fine.
Mm-hmm.
But that was over in California where I think there's a lot more things. You're not in a bubble, but Stevens Point's basically in a bubble for this championship. Central Wisconsin getting a major, even if you can say, well, it's a senior. That's awesome. It's not going to happen very often.
Yeah,
there is going to be people there in droves. I think it's going to be fun. And when they had the senior, they had it at Whistling Straits, I believe. The senior, I don't know if it was a senior. It was a senior PGA because it was they broke a record there for like the amount of people that were there. So I think this is going to be the same thing. And if you see the excitement that is at the AmFam,
yeah,
for a regular tour stop, just think about having a major tour stop for the Champions Tour. It's it's not hyperbole when I say this will probably be one of the biggest sporting events to ever happen in Central Wisconsin.
And I got to imagine it probably helps knowing that one of the favorites, if not the favorite, is a Wisconsin guy, Steve Stricker.
Oh no, this couldn't be better. I mean, this is like this is as good as it gets, and the fact that Jerry Kelly will more than likely be battling with him.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who won last year, Patty Harrington, is an international name and a big name and a very likable name.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the amount of personalities you're going to get there for this it's going to be awesome. So yeah, if you're on the fence about going to it, I know it sounds like I'm selling, but I am. I mean, this is going to be, and the course there is perfect for spectators. If you've ever played it, everything's kind of bunched together in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not widespread where there's like a definite front and back when you have to walk so far to get to one. Everything's kind of right in there that you'll be able to walk from these different holes and get to see a whole lot of action. So yeah. And with the Champions Tour, it gives you a little more access because it's not as, I feel like not as bunched in, and they're not as, keeping people away like they do with the PGA Tour.
Mm-hmm.
This is a chance to see these guys that you've been watching for years up close. So I think it's going to be cool.
And that's something that it was a couple weeks ago. We had Mark Rolfing on from NBC Sports, and he was at Century World when we were talking to him. And he mentioned the one thing he really brought up, kind of what you're saying. He was talking about the parking. Like when you park, it's like right there. You're right there in front of everything.
It's right there. Yeah, you just get out of your car and you see everything. You've got the hotel or the inn is right there, the center, and then there's the course. And it really is. It's kind of like a panoramic look. You can see pretty much the whole course. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think this is going to be it's going to be a really good showcase, and they've been working for years. I mean, to get something like this at Century World, I mean, I can remember, being back in college and them saying they wanted something like this. So I think it's very big for them.
You know what made me feel really old though, watching the AmFam Championship this past weekend, was seeing Justin Leonard in there and setting the first round record. I'm like, oh my goodness, he's playing that. I remember watching him as a kid, and now I'm like, okay, now I feel kind of old seeing Justin Leonard. No offense, I'm not trying to pick on him, but I'm like, holy moly, Justin Leonard. All right, setting records.
Justin Leonard looks like he's like still in his 20s.
Yes, exactly.
Like he's just very youthful. But I mean, that's another point. Is like all these guys that we were watching in the late 90s, early 2000s now are on this tour.
Yep,
and that's what makes it so fun. Is that you're gonna there's gonna be a memorable name. You're going to see, and it's a U.S. Open. So that means you're going to have that chance for somebody to make, an amazing run.
Well, look at the PGA Championship, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you get a qualifier that somehow makes a run, that's a great story too. So yeah, I mean, everything's leading up to it. I mean, again, if you're Century World, you've got to be just happy to see what happened this weekend with Steve Stricker, because it really does build things up.
I agree. All right. Hey, tell you what, let's take a quick break here, and then we'll chat some more baseball and such in there, get back to some of your texts and such, but we'll take that quick break, and we'll be back with more with Justice Cleveland, sports director extraordinaire, after these quick words.
You're listening to the Dan Kasper Show.
Summer is a busy time. Holidays, vacations, get-togethers, which also means you're going to need a lot of food. So you need a go-to place you can trust that has the widest selection of products with the best prices and the best fuel saver program in the Chippewa Valley. That's Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. From their meat department, deli, bakery, and more, Hy-Vee has you covered for all those get-togethers and vacations for this summer. Plus, save more money for your vacations with their Epic Fuel Savers program. Make it a memorable and epic summer with the help from Hy-Vee.
Bandana? Check. Boots? Check. Gloves? Check. As a motorcycle rider in Wisconsin, you may go to great lengths to protect your image. Just be sure you're protecting yourself, too. Wear a Department of Transportation-approved helmet. Perform safety checks on your motorcycle. Know the traffic laws and don't take risks. Motorists and motorcyclists can work together to achieve zero preventable deaths on Wisconsin roads. Zero in Wisconsin. Together, we can save lives. Learn more at zeroinwisconsin.gov.
Sponsored by Wisconsin DOT.
You want to feel important.
You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
You want to feel like you belong.
We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it.
We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers.
We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more.
When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it.
We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors.
From the lakeshores of Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota,
the fertile fields of Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa, to the wide open plains of North and South Dakota.
We are here for our hometowns.
And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
All aboard! The Eau Claire Express are back. They're taking the field once again this summer, and you can support Eau Claire Express baseball at historic Carson Park all summer long. General admission tickets and grandstand tickets are available, and you can check out the rest of the 2023 Express schedule at eauclaireexpress.com or on their Facebook page. Enjoy summer baseball with the Eau Claire Express.
Hi, this is Josh Smith from Union Trailer and Power Equipment. Looking to upgrade your mower this year? Now is the time to upgrade, as we have a large selection of Aaron's and Gravely's zero-turn mowers in stock with some great sale prices, along with 0% for 48 months or large cash discounts. Get into a new Aaron's zero-turn mower for as little as $92 a month with no money down. Don't forget about our free delivery within 20 miles of Union Trailer and Power Equipment, located right in the Chippewa Valley. As the only Steel Elite dealer in the area, we have a gold certified tech to work on all the steel chainsaws, backpack blowers, string trimmers, and any other 2-cycle engine issues you may have. Give us a call today at 715-930-1066. We've expanded our rental department this year. We'll be renting on many different trailer options with skid steers and mini excavators as well. Give our rental department a call today to schedule your next rental. Union Trailer and Power Equipment, a local family-owned business located right in the Chippewa Valley off Highway 53 at the Melby Street exit. Visit us online at uniontrailer.com.
Quality products, expert service, Union Trailer Sales.
Suffer a sports injury or know someone who has and you don't know who to turn to? Rely on the experience of the sports medicine team at Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. When you experience any sports-related injury or issue, you could count on Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine on prompt, proper diagnosis and customized treatment plans to meet your goals. When it comes to getting back on the field of play, get back on there with the best team in the area. Request an appointment with Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine today by visiting cvosm.com.
The Shoe Doctor is known for quality footwear. Remember, the Shoe Doctor can keep your feet comfortable during all the different outdoor weather and activities here in the Chippewa Valley. Work boots, casual shoes, sandals, and more from brands you trust like Keen, Merrill, Chaco, and Dansko, and that's just to name a few. Located on Claremont Avenue in Eau Claire, you can also visit them online at shoedoctorfootwear.com. The Shoe Doctor, quality footwear for work, sport, and fun.
The latest sports news, scores, opinion, and commentary. If that's not enough, you should seek professional help. The Dan Kasper Show.
Since we were talking so much golf just a little bit ago, another reminder, if you want to secure your spots in the third annual Kasper Classic coming up on August 4th at the gorgeous Princeton Valley, go ahead and do so, because I'll tell you what, right now, morning sessions are, well, they're pretty much full up. We're focusing on the 1 p.m.s right now, but you want to secure that spot, we got a couple more. We got a couple more at our website, sportstalk1051.com, if you want to secure that spot right now for the early birds. Might open up a few more later on, but if you want to make sure you've got that spot secured, go to our website, sportstalk1051.com right now and secure your spot. I got to ask you, since Justice, you're kind of my next my main golf dude, what was your reaction when you found out PGA and Liv came to an agreement? What was like the first thing that came to your mind?
Oh, I couldn't believe it, because I was there at that Tuesday morning covering state golf, and I walked into the locker room at Black Wolf Run, and they had it on the TV. I was washing my hands, and I heard something. I'm like, Liv and PGA Tour agreement. I'm like, oh boy. So I walked around, peeked on the TV, and I'm like, oh wow. And it would have been, for me, it was like kind of lucky that I was working, because then I would have probably went more full dive into it. But I had something to distract me. Thankfully, it's tough, because it paints the PGA Tour kind of in a hypocritical light after all that they went through the last year, especially the players like Rory McIlroy that stood up so much for the PGA Tour, than to have this happen. So I just think that the news that came out is that there's just no way they could sustain this fight against the Saudi money that was there, the public investment fund. You have $600 billion to play with. Gosh, PGA just wasn't going to be able to do it. So I think, in a way, this kind of went the way both sides wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the PGA, I think they're now the powerful one. They're the powerful golf entity, as in Liv is now kind of an afterthought. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, from the way this all plays out, PGA will be the one that they're going to, all that money. They're not going to put the money into Liv when they now basically control the largest golf product in the world.
Right. So
I think the PGA, it puts them at least, structure wise, they're now they have the power that way. But it just looks bad. It's a bad look for the PGA. For Jay Monahan, this is his legacy now of, what is the tour going to be? What influence is the PIF going to have on the PGA, advertising, all this stuff. So it's a messy, messy situation. Is it good that there's no longer this fight between Live and PGA? Sure. I think the PGA was winning the public perception fight between those two tours. I just think Live was still just an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for the rest of that stuff, for a lot of those players, a lot to reconcile if you're somebody like Rory McIlroy.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Just kind of, I want to do some catch-ups here with you too. With the Bucks, I know this is a little bit older news, but Milwaukee hiring their new head coach, Adrian Griffin. Now Toronto has gone out, so all the coaching vacancies have been filled up. But Bucks going with the first-time head coach, whereas the 76ers went with Nick Nurse. You had Suns are going with Frank Vogel. Even Detroit going with Monty Williams, some retreads, guys who have either had a championship or have gone to the NBA Finals. Was it a little bit surprising in your thoughts or in your opinion that the Bucks went with the first time head coach, or do you like that they went with this route?
In a way, I like it because they kind of thought outside the box comparatively to the other decisions that were made.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the tough thing was to find somebody better than Mike Budenholzer. Which
Right.
in my mind, that's not an easy person to replace because I think he's a great coach. I think, obviously the last couple of years in the playoffs just it didn't work anymore. And if Adrian Griffin comes in and has a way of making this defense better, that's going to be huge. But I think that was the toughest thing was like, who's better than Mike Budenholzer? Well, I think if you go this route, at least you're like, okay, we're going to give this guy a chance to have his look. He's a guy who's familiar with the organization. He's brought a lot of people back to the organization that are familiar with the Bucks and have been there. So all in all, I think it's a good decision. I think it's one that if you're the Bucks, you hang your hat on somebody that you think can be a star as a coach. Whereas these other, the other teams are going with established guys and you'll see how it goes. There's a lot more baggage with those guys that have been there than somebody who's new. So it's an experiment for the Bucks, but I think it's one that if it pays off with the defense improving and they can still score like they do, who knows what they could do next year. I mean, they could be back in a finals if everything works out right.
Right. Plus, I want just kind of a mixed bag here sort of thing. And I know we got to restart the Zoom already here in a few minutes, but Jokic won the French Open. And I know do you still play tennis a little bit, or is that gone by the days?
Oh,
with,
I still,
okay.
yeah. When I have time, now that once the prep season's over, then I'll start getting back out there
Gotcha.
a little more.
Okay, so Jokic won the French Open, 23 Grand Slam titles, which is the most in men's tennis. And saw it yesterday when it happened. It was a story right away, but I feel like it's already gone quiet a little bit, and maybe for a couple reasons here, Justice. One is because tennis obviously maybe it's not as popular as the NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, et cetera, et cetera. But also, do you think it's because part of it is that, the last couple of other tennis players, they were already breaking records, Nadal and Federer, like it was happening, within the last few years, like these guys kept breaking each other. But now we got another new leader in the clubhouse. But do you think it kind of gets maybe overlooked or taken for granted a little bit that this guy won 23 Grand Slam titles? And, I think it was I brought it up last week. Pete Sampras originally had the record was at 14 until Federer broke that. So it was 14. Jokic now has a record, and that's 9 more than what the previous record was, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I think we've been spoiled.
That's a good way.
Yep. Great tennis that we've had. Jokovic doing what he needs to do to get 23, and then Federer and Nadal just kind of flip-flopping there for a while. So with what happens, it is kind of unfortunately that's the thing is where we've seen, and I mean on the women's side we had the same thing with Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Tying Margaret Court with that. So I mean, we've had such a plethora of greatness that it almost seems like, this happens almost every year, but it won't. I mean, at some point, this isn't going to happen for a long time. I mean, there isn't anybody even close to Djokovic right now. Like this is, and I mean, we might not. I mean, he's probably going to win close to 30 before the end of his career. He's 36 years old, but I mean, he's still the top. He'll be the top player again, number 1 in the world after this, winning this as well. So. Yeah, I mean, I think this is again. It's the riches that we've seen in the tennis world have been just amazing the last decade and a half.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head by saying spoiled, because you look at that run with Federer and Nadal, and it was always kind of seemed like it was pitted between those two. You know, it was those two guys, and then you had Djokovic, who was just kind of like that third wheel there. Yet now he's the leader with all the majors over there. It's been an amazing run with men's tennis, and I feel like I remember, as I'm not the biggest tennis fan in the world. I never was the biggest tennis fan in the world, but I remember when I was younger watching Sampras and Andre Agassi on TV. Whether it was a U.S. Open, I knew who they were. I knew exactly who they were. I knew, they were two of the best tennis players in all the world. But you look at this run of these three, comparing it to every other single sport and the runs that those sports have had in terms of greatness and great athletes coming through, I don't know if you can match tennis when you think about it, Justice.
Yeah. The amount that they've won, and it is just insane. I mean, you can go like at Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, that kind of thing, go with that. But those guys weren't winning his titles at this clip.
Mm-hmm.
Like these guys are. And yeah, I mean, I didn't think anybody was going to be better than Federer.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Nadal had such a rivalry, but it always seemed like Federer was coming up. Then all of a sudden, late in his career, Nadal overtakes him. And then Djokovic comes and overtakes both of them. So, yeah, it is a crazy whirlwind for tennis. And again, soak it in, because you might not see this maybe ever. Who knows if anybody's going to be able to beat this record.
Mm-hmm. Do you think these tennis players, and anybody who's listened for a while is probably like, okay, this is going to turn into a drinking game here. But, like I've always said, Tiger made golf cool for me. Like I was of that age and, kind of growing up, later junior high school. He made it cool, for me to go golfing. Do you think these guys, these like the Nadals and the Federers and that, kind of had the same effect on tennis right now? I mean, we had Oakland Memorial, just short of, what they made it to state, but they've fell in the state semis on Saturday. But, do you think these tennis players kind of had the same effect? Serena Williams, too, would probably be another great example of like almost making it cool for kids to take up like tennis and such. You know what I'm kind of getting at a little bit?
Yeah, and I think tennis has been kind of lucky since from the 80s of having those personalities that kind of make it cool, and even going back to the 70s too. Your Bjorn Borgs, and you move up to
McEnroe's and all that.
McEnroe's, Jim Connors, and then you go to the 90s, and then it was like the Agassi's, the Samprases, and then they've been lucky enough to have a little bit of a jump off point where all these generations have kind of mixed a little bit, because you had Federer and Sampras at the end of his career. Agassi was there as well, still playing when he was coming up, and then you had Nadal and Federer in their prime, and then all of a sudden Djokovic comes up and now he's the king. So I think that's been good for them. And on the women's side, obviously like Billie Jean King, Martina Navratilova, Chris Everett, Steffi Graf, then leading to the Williams sisters. So yeah, I think tennis it's kind of like golf, where you were lucky enough to get this intermingling of generations, where guys might not still be on top, but they're still at least out there on sharing the court and sharing the spotlight, and it kind of gives them, to use a wrestling term, the rub. Like when you're a wrestler and you lose to somebody who's up and coming, that helps that person. Well, that's kind of what happens in tennis, I think, a lot.
I agree. Good points. All right, tell you what, let's take our final break for this hour. We'll restart the Zoom here, JC, and then finish up talking a little bit more Brewers. We'll get back to some Brewers chat here. Off day for the Crew before they start a quick 2-game series against the Minnesota Twins. So we'll kind of recap again from this past weekend. But the thing we were talking about in the first hour, coming off this series sweep by the Oakland Athletics. Yeah. And then now we're under 100 games, under 100 games, believe it or not, for the rest of the regular season. So we'll finish up this hour, getting back to some more Brewers talk. But first, quick break, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes for the final 15 minutes or so with Mr. JC in the EC, Justice Cleveland. We'll be back.
Got a take on today's topics but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking.
This is Scott Pasak, owner of Colfax Chevrolet. We have a fantastic selection of vehicles in stock, and if you don't see what you're looking for, we will find it for you. We strive to provide an excellent customer experience, so stop in and see what makes Colfax Chevrolet different. Visit both of our lots in downtown Colfax, and for a buying experience completely online, visit colfaxchev.com. It's always a fantastic day at Colfax Chevrolet.
So, I have a question for all you guys out there. Why is it that I see you hauling all kinds of stuff in your trucks? Lumber, ATVs, furniture, and everything is strapped down tight, except you. I mean, come on, fellas. You're just as important as your buddy's blue plaid sofa. Buckle up.
Pickups rock. They also roll. Buckle up in your truck and arrive alive. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
All aboard! The Eau Claire Express are back. They're taking the field once again this summer, and you can support Eau Claire Express baseball at historic Carson Park all summer long. General admission tickets and grandstand tickets are available, and you can check out the rest of the 2023 Express schedule at eauclairexpress.com or on their Facebook page. Enjoy summer baseball with the Eau Claire Express.
Hi, this is Josh Smith from Union Trailer and Power Equipment. Looking to upgrade your mower this year? Now is the time to upgrade, as we have a large selection of Aaron's and Gravely's zero-turn mowers in stock with some great sale prices, along with 0% for 48 months or large cash discount. Get into a new Aaron's zero-turn mower for as little as $92 a month with no money down. Don't forget about our free delivery within 20 miles of Union Trailer and Power Equipment, located right in the Chippewa Valley. As the only steel elite dealer in the area, we have a gold certified tech to work on all the steel chainsaws, backpack blowers, string trimmers, and any other two-cycle engine issues you may have. Give us a call today at 715-930-1066. We have expanded our rental department this year. We'll be renting on many different trailer options with skid steers and mini excavators as well. Give our rental department a call today to schedule your next rental. Union Trailer and Power Equipment, a local family-owned business located right in the Chippewa Valley off Highway 53 at the Melby Street exit. Visit us online at uniontrailer.com.
Quality products, expert service, Union Trailer Sales.
A lot of folks around here are breathing easier because of Grace Home Respiratory. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory is a local company that puts customer service first. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory provides an array of medical equipment, services, and supplies to help their recovery and enhance their quality of life. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory has the experience and qualifications that exceed their expectations. So when you need home medical equipment and services, turn to Grace Home Respiratory not only for the equipment you need, but for their dedicated staff of respiratory therapists who are on call 24 hours a day. To find out more, call Grace Home Respiratory at 715-832-7377 or online at ghr-ec.com.
Grace Home Respiratory always has your health and safety as their top priority. Your expert when it comes to medical equipment and supplies. Choose Grace Home Respiratory.
You want to feel important.
You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
You want to feel like you belong.
We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it.
We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers.
We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more.
When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it.
We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors.
From the lakeshores of Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota,
the fertile fields of Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa, to the wide open plains of North and South Dakota.
We are here for our hometowns.
And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. Every branch working together. And with the new Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through June, purchase online with Beacon Pro Plus, web or app, and earn up to $1,500. Beacon, always building.
I'd like to get real with you for a moment. All across the country and even in our town, there are people who have to go without. Perhaps even you having to go without being able to hear parts of the Dan Kasper Show. It's tragic, but there is help. You can listen to Sand on the Man Cave podcast. Check it out for yourself on your favorite podcasting platform.
Flying on by this morning, JC. It's cruising on through already. Getting ready to wrap up the second hour, man.
Yeah, you're saying cruising, by the way. We're talking about Dale Varsho having to get to that game on Wednesday.
Yeah.
You realize he is on like the farthest west team.
Yeah, Minot.
Minot, which is around my neck of the woods where I grew up. Yeah. He's got a long trip that night, and then might be hopping in a car that morning to get over there to Appleton. So best of luck, Dale.
Well, I told them they better bring me back a Hot Tots hat. I want to see what that thing looks like over there.
When we're there, we're going to be there like the end of July to visit my parents. I'm thinking about heading up there to check out a game because that's a newer. I think this is their first year in existence.
I think so. Yeah.
So I think it'd be kind of neat to go see them.
Yeah, I love summer collegiate or minor league baseball team names and logos. I love them. I love that they embrace the funny and the awkward at times. It's all about selling swag, right? And it works.
Oh, exactly. Yep. It definitely is. So yeah, that's why, I was in Green Bay, and you remember when they were the Booyah?
Yes.
For like a year or two. And I thought that was awesome. And now they're the Rockers, which
because they were the Bullfrogs too, weren't they?
Yeah, they were Bullfrogs first, and they were the Booyah.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody else bought them and changed them to the Rockers. And I'm just like, oh, you had such a good name.
Yep.
Rockers just doesn't have that, especially in minor league baseball, doesn't jump out at you like, Hot Tots.
Totally agree, man. Totally agree. In fact, let's make that let's make that a question. What is your favorite minor league baseball? 715-830-1912. The Express, they've got 2 more games against the Hot Tots tonight and tomorrow. Express sitting at 6-6 at the beginning part of their season. I still believe, I know this was from last week when we talked with Dale, but still waiting on some more players because, they were playing the College World Series and such. I know lacrosse last week fell in the World Series, but they also had some California guys playing over there too. So maybe they're getting closer to return, or maybe they already have. We'll find out tomorrow for sure. But nonetheless, 6-6. That's why they've got 2 halves, right, Justice? So
exactly, and they're right there when you're 6-6. Yeah, you definitely got a chance.
Exactly. So, speaking of baseball, we only got a few minutes to the top here. Kind of a poo-poo weekend for the Brewers, huh? Getting swept by baseball's worst record-wise, the Oakland A's in your home stadium. Not quite the weekend that you had hoped to have planned after taking 2 out of 3 against Baltimore and then following that up by getting swept by the lowly Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, I mean, you were sitting pretty good. I mean, especially the start of June, taking 3 of 4 from the Reds, 2 of 3 then from Baltimore, and then you're thinking Oakland comes in, you got a chance for another sweep to just kind of expand that lead in the Central, and everything plays out. You're now a game back of the Pittsburgh Pirates, falling out of first place for the first time in quite a while to the Brewers. So, yeah, not what you want to see, but it kind of feels like what you expect from this Brewers team this year at times. It's like, maybe losing to teams they shouldn't.
Right. Yeah. And then now you got Minnesota, which I look at, it's just 2-game series coming up here, but you kind of look at it. I think it's a battle between the NL Central and the AL Central, which division is worse right now, Justice, because Minnesota's first place in their division, but they're at 500. And then 1.5 back from them now is Cleveland. And then you look at the Brewers, who are 1 back from Pittsburgh Pirates, but at least there's 2 teams in the NL Central with winning records right now. But then you look, looking at this series, but then looking ahead to this upcoming weekend, Pittsburgh comes to town. And my pick for the biggest surprise in Major League Baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks, coming for 3 games, who are 3.5 up on the Dodgers for first place in the NL West right now, Justice.
Yeah, I don't think anybody saw that coming.
No.
You thought the Padres, sit 9 games back in that division with their payroll. That's insane. So, yeah, with the NL Central, it's anybody's contest right now. Anyone in that division could still actually come back and probably win this thing this year.
Yep.
It just takes a 2-week, a good hot streak for 2 weeks. Like Pirates are, they've won 7 out of their last 10, and lo and behold, that's the only team that's played over 500 ball in the last 10 games and gets you back to first place. So the Cardinals kind of slid. I still think they're going to be there at the end because that's the Cardinals. That's what they do. But I think, the surprise is, the Reds are around 500. The Cubs aren't that far back either. So, yeah, when you look at the NL Central, it's going to be no one can win at home like consistently. Everybody's around 500 at home. The Brewers are 18-16. So are the Pirates. And when you're not winning at home, it's a lot to expect you to go on the road and be able to carry your team. And that's kind of what it's been for the Brewers. They're 500 on the road, just 2 games above 500 at home. And, it's almost the exact same thing for the Pirates. So if you can't win in your home games, that's where the struggles are going to be. And I think, that's like the Twins. The Twins are at least 4 games over 500 at home, but 4 games below 500. And that's kind of what you more expect. So, yeah, the Twins have the last 10 games. They have been the streakiest of teams. And Cleveland just hasn't really – Cleveland's made up some ground now. They're a game and a half back. But, yeah, both these divisions – it's almost like, okay, somebody's got to win it.
Yeah.
We'll see who does.
Yep, I agree. What besides? So I've been kind of having a little fun with this. It was mostly last week and such, but now that we're under 100 games left in the regular season, Justice, who would you put in that conversation as the most disappointing team so far this year, and maybe the most surprising? Is it all from the NL West with the Diamondbacks and the Padres, or you got Miami, who's in second place in the East right now? Throw them in there too. Baltimore proving it's not a fluke from last year. Who else would you put in there?
I think you got to throw the Rangers in there too. That's obviously they've had they brought some arms in and actually had issues with some arms, but for that offense to be clicking the way they have, to be 18 games above 500, I don't think it's a team that fired their manager last year. Yeah. That doesn't seem to be a big thing. That seems the same thing. There are teams that have flipped that switch. So yeah, I would say the Rangers are right up there, but obviously San Diego is got to be the biggest disappointment in my mind.
Yeah,
for just the amount of money. The Mets could be right there as well. The Mets spent a ton of money to try to overcome the Atlanta Braves, and right now they're sitting in 4th place. So it's baseball. You can't just go out and you try to buy the team, but it doesn't always work. And I think the Mets are a prime example of that. So. Yeah, the Rays are a surprise, but they were a talented team. And I think we all knew they were a talented team coming in. But for them to be 28 games above 500 at this point in the year, we were talking about winning at home. They're 31-7 at home. When you are 24 games above 500 in your home stadium at this point in the season, I don't think that, I want to combine at the end of the year, like the top 2 in the NL Central probably will be like 12 games above 500 in their home court. So, yeah, I think this is – it's a surprise, and it's good for baseball to have a team like the Rays and, kind of doing this. So it's going to be that AL East is going to be interesting to watch the whole rest of the season.
I agree. Yeah, we were kind of talking about that one in the first hour. You look at that, the last place team, Boston at 500. Every team's got a winning record at least, or 500 on there. So it's a lot of time left. I know we've got, articles and talking points and blogs that are out there talking about the trade deadline, who's available, who should be buyers, who should be sellers. It's not till August 1st and that, but I'm glad that it's not coming up for the Brewers because I literally don't know what they should do at this point, Justice. I don't know if they should just buy a little bit because it's the postseason, get in, anything can happen, or stand pat, or what. I really have no idea what they should do right now.
Probably need a new setup, man.
Yeah.
Strzelecki that has not been pretty the last few times out there.
Yep.
That ERA is now over 5. So yeah, Devin Williams has looked fine. It's just
is he the best player on his team right now? You think?
I think so. Yeah, I think you could put that argument in there. Unfortunately, the guys that were sustaining in the beginning, like Freddie Peralta's just kind of struggled his last few starts out there. And when you don't have much for starters, that really comes out glaring when you can't do that. So, yeah, I think Devin Williams is looking great. Now, that's what makes you nervous because who was the first person to go last year? Your all-star closer. Would that be who would be the first on the market for the Brewers if they start selling?
Yeah.
Because you're going to have people that are going to want them. I think there's obviously probably people who want them right now. So that's where it makes me nervous because I would hate to see that bullpen without him.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Totally agree. All right. We only got about a minute until the shot clock stops us here for right now. So I forgot to ask you when we were talking golf. Are you going to the U.S. Senior Open? Do you know yet if you're going to check it out?
I'm going to try. If anything, I'll be there for the weekend and just come, get some tickets. And I got to be there when it's this close, something like this.
Yeah. Your neck of the woods, old stomping grounds over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like I need to go see that and witness it and just, kind of be a part of history that's going to be made there.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I think I'm going to head over there too. So especially if, the way Stricker's playing and if he wins another major this year, man.
Yeah. It's been an amazing run, and I hope he can continue it.
I agree. Well, dude, hey, good catching up with you. Appreciate you dedicating some time with us this morning, buddy, and go hit the course. Work on your game. Okay.
I'm dad taxiing for the next one. I don't know when I'm going to go to course again. So school's out, and I'm here bringing the kids to all their activities.
Nice. Well, you make some time for yourself. Go ahead.
I'm sure I will. Don't worry.
Well, love chatting with you, buddy. Appreciate the time as always, sir.
Thank you. Everybody have a great week.
You got it. There's JC. There's our shot clock. 2 in, 1 more to go. Let's kick off the next hour with some studs and duds after these quick news updates.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM.
From the 715 newsroom, it's Morgan McCarthy with your news on Sports Talk 105.1.
Well, good morning. Here's what we're learning today as we plug back into a new week. An update from a deadly crash that began with a wrong-way driver on I-94. 715 newsroom coverage with John DeMaster.
It happened just after midnight yesterday on I-94 near Menominee. The State Patrol says a 33-year-old Eau Claire man was driving the wrong way on 94 when another car hit him head-on. The 33-year-old man was killed. A 27-year-old woman and 2 boys, ages 6 and 8, were also seriously injured. The driver of the other car was taken to the local hospital for minor injuries. The Dunn County Sheriff's Office and State Patrol are both investigating that crash. I'm John DeMaster.
In Chippewa, no one's saying exactly what caused an apartment fire on Saturday, but we can tell you crews rushed to a building on West Elm Street just about after 6 a.m. Saturday. Crews said both flames and smoke were coming from the building. Now, everybody inside was able to make it out okay. No one hurt, although investigators are now looking for what started that fire. When it comes to 911 calls, there are a lot of mistakes in Marathon County, but the advice stretches across Wisconsin. Many of the calls that the sheriff in Wausau says were 911 calls coming in were accidental. In fact, 113 accidental 911 calls on Saturday alone. Now, many of those are blamed on phones that automatically dial 911 if a power button is pushed too many times or maybe somebody swipes the screen too many times. Sheriff's offices across the states they're seeing similar accidental calls. Now, you can avoid that by checking your phone's emergency settings. Sometimes when phones do updates, either Apple or Android phones, they'll kind of get this glitch in them. You can check that settings and see where yours are at for the emergency setting. In other headlines, we look to the political stage. Maybe it'll be a 3-term Tony. Governor Evers joking about a run during a 3rd term at the Wisconsin's Democrats convention over the weekend. And when it comes to the other side of the aisle, the Republican convention happens this weekend in La Crosse. Well, you may have noticed if you were at the pump, there's another plump. Gas prices trending back up. AAA says the statewide average here in our state is $3.56 a gallon. I know we saw $3.55 driving in, so it seems to be on the uptick again. And a hero's arm and a hero's pitch. Milwaukee's hero school bus driver got a standing ovation. Nick Williams, who also threw out the first pitch for the Brewers over the weekend. She was a school bus driver from the Milwaukee area who pulled 37 kids off her bus earlier this month just before it burst into flames. Williams said she was just doing her job and all the kiddos on board were okay. Well, it is June Dairy Month, so you know what those milkshakes do. And apparently Khalees can bring all the boys to the yard. The singer allegedly dating award-winning actor Bill Murray. Yeah, did you hear this rumor? Ironically enough, this is actually the song that Kasper was hoping to play as his walkout music the next time they get together to play, beer ball in Medford. What was it, Kasper?
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard and they're like,
For Sports Talk 105.1, I'm Morgan McCarthy.
A clear sky through the overnight has given us a pretty chilly start to the morning, especially in some of our lower elevations, as a lot of us are starting off in the 30s and 40s. Otherwise, we'll have some sunshine throughout the morning before clouds start to roll in, eventually giving way to a few chances at some showers, topping out into the mid-70s. A few more chances at some showers continue through the overnight, lows dipping to the mid-50s. with intervals of clouds and sun in store for tomorrow and highs in the low 80s. I'm Skywarn 13 meteorologist Mike Dandria.
This is Scott Pasak, owner of Colfax Chevrolet. We have a fantastic selection of vehicles in stock, and if you don't see what you're looking for, we will find it for you. We strive to provide an excellent customer experience, so stop in and see what makes Colfax Chevrolet different. Visit both of our lots in downtown Colfax, and for a buying experience completely online, visit colfaxchev.com. It's always a fantastic day at Colfax Chevrolet.
Want to stop engine problems before they start? Pick up a can of Seafoam Motor Treatment. Seafoam helps engines start easier, run smoother, and last longer. Just pour it in your fuel tank. Seafoam is available where automotive products are sold.
Let me ask you something. Did you name your firstborn after a football player?
Hell yes.
Did you spend your honeymoon going to a football game?
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Do you spend most of your free time hanging out in your man cave?
Yes!
If you answered yes to all the above, then you, my friend, are a serious sports fan just like Dan.
Yes!
This is exactly where you belong. Sports talking and BSing is what we do best.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
So rise and grind, people, because the Dan Kasper Show is on the air.
You serious, Clark?
Right now.
Showtime! Woo!
And we are cruising on through this Monday morning of June 12th. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Appreciate you listening and tuning in and sending us some messages. Jordan's going with the Rocket City Trash Pandas for the best minor league baseball team name out there. I have thought about getting a Trash Panda hat. I know exactly who the Rocket City Trash Pandas are. I've thought about it. I want to get a couple of like minor league, AAA, single A, double A, summer collegiate teams hats, and just like some, I don't know. I love the logos and I love the team names out there. Rocket City Trash Pandas are definitely one of them that are on my list. But in case you're just tuning in, you're like, what in HE double hockey sticks are you talking about this morning? We're looking for who's your favorite. You may not even be a fan of them, but you just love the names. The best minor league, summer collegiate baseball team names. We got to give a shout out to our friends from a couple years ago. I think it was a listener that informed me of this team name, but they also play. It's a summer collegiate baseball team, the Spearfish Sasquatch. We actually had the owner on a couple of years ago. I've got a hat of theirs. Sasquatch, sweet color scheme. Got the Carolina blue on there. So it's all factored in there. Color scheme, logos, name, creativity, boom. So have a little fun with this. Hit us up with some texts on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Find me on Twitter at DANKASPER or Facebook.com/Kasper Sports. Didn't get to it last hour, so let's do it right now before we do some studs and duds. But Sports Nuggets of the Day brought to you by Ansay Associates. It was 1839. Abner Doubleday, sounds like somebody from Harry Potter, created the game of baseball, according to the legend. However, evidence has surfaced that indicates that the game of baseball was played well before 1800. 1939, National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum was dedicated in Cooperstown, New York. 1948, Ben Hogan won his first U.S. Open. Let's go with 1967. The Senators beat Chicago 6-5 in 22 innings. The game lasted 6 hours, 38 minutes, and ended at 2:43 a.m. and caused the league to adopt a curfew starting that no inning may start after 1 a.m. 1981, Major League Baseball players began a 49-day strike. The issue was free agent compensation. Wayne Gretzky was named winner of NHL's Hart Trophy, rinse and repeat. The award, obviously, is the MVP. This was 1985. The Bulls won their first NBA championship in 1991. They beat the Lakers 4-1. Interleague play began in baseball in 1997, ending a 126-year tradition of separating the major leagues until the World Series. Those are just some of your sports nuggets of the day, brought to you by Yancey Associates. With that, with the Interleague now, obviously we've had more of a balanced schedule. We're seeing it this year. Brewers have playing more AL teams than, making visits to AL parks for the first time in almost like double-digit years and such. Baseball fans, do you like the fact that we have more of this balanced schedule? National League teams and AL League teams are playing each other more. Do you like how it is currently structured? Or would you have liked to just do a little interleague play here and there? Or you just want it straight up, National League versus National League, AL versus AL, and then they play each other when it's like either the All-Star game or the World Series. Now it's like, okay, maybe it takes a little bit of the, everybody's universal DH now. So, kind of maybe takes away a little bit from that. But I like the balanced schedule. Maybe it's a recency thing, but I like seeing the Brewers taking on teams that we haven't necessarily seen them take on either in a long time, or we don't see that often, or going to ballparks, or seeing these teams come to Milwaukee that we haven't seen in a long time. I know we had talked about at the end of April, the Angels coming to Milwaukee, and it might have been the first and perhaps the only time for a lot of people to see a player like Ohtani or Trout in person. We've seen Baltimore and Oakland just recently. Looking ahead here a little bit, maybe some more of the iconic series. You got Texas coming up in August and such. You got the Yankees in September there. That'll be in New York. So, but yeah, I like it right now. Ask me again in a few years, and maybe I'd like to see it go back somewhere else or get adjusted a little bit and such. But all right, let's do some studs and duds. Fairly easy for me this morning.
Who's the stud and who's the dud? You decide right now on the Dan Kasper Show.
My studs and duds, fairly easy. Duds are the Brewers. Let's not overthink it here. You get swept by the Oakland Athletics in Milwaukee. That's dud. We could say words that are probably worse or not appropriate in this instance, but it was a dud of a performance for the Brewers over the weekend. Record-wise, the worst team in Major League Baseball comes to your house, and you lose every single game. After you just came off of winning a series against Baltimore, taking 3 out of 4 against Cincinnati. You're maybe starting off the month of June on a high note, feeling good, gaining some confidence. You're in first place in your division, and you lay an egg. That's a dud. My studs, talked about him a couple times already this morning. Steve Stricker winning the AmFam Championship yesterday, the tournament that he helped bring to the state of Wisconsin. The run that Steve Stricker has been on this year has been amazing. He has been on a tear in Champions tournaments, 2023 Champions tournaments. He has finished no lower than tied for 8th, and that was back in March. His last outings, these are his total scores the man is putting up. Going back to January, overall scores. 23 under par, 14 under par, 9 under par, 12 under par, 10 under par, 11 under par, 11 under par, 23 under par, 18 under par, 16 under par, 18 under par. The one final score where he wasn't double-digit under par was actually his lowest finish, too. That was the March Cologuard Classic, where he finished tied for 8th and he had 9 under par. Otherwise, double-digit under pars every single time. And with that, he broke a record that was set by Tiger Woods during Tiger's prime of 2000-2001. Consecutive rounds of under par. So anytime you pass Tiger, this was on Friday when he did it. So let's face it, he's probably got a pretty darn good shot at extending this record and making it very, very, very difficult to surpass. But on Friday, it was his 53rd consecutive round of par or better, the longest streak by any player in a PGA Tour sanctioned event, erasing the record previously held by Tiger Woods. Stricker said afterwards, "It really wasn't on my mind, but anytime you can pass Tiger Woods in something like that, I may text him and just remind him that I did pass him. No, seriously, I'm proud of that. I would have rather done that on a regular tour, but to do it here is even special too." So now you got the U.S. Senior Open that's coming up here in just a couple weeks. Anybody going to that, by the way? Anybody thinking about going, or you got your tickets and you're already going? Let me know too. But how is he not the favorite over there in Century World, Stevens Point? And, oh, man, he's just playing some fantastic golf. And like Justice was saying too, you factor in Ryder Cup Championship, where he was the captain, Whistling Straits over there. This guy, I know he's not going to be in the 2023 class for the Hall of Fame, for the Golf Hall of Fame, because they already got that announced, and that's actually getting announced with the U.S. Open coming up here. Pod Harrington's going to be in it, but Steve Stricker better be in that World Golf Hall of Fame pretty darn soon here. Pretty soon, right? So those are my studs and duds. If you got any others, you can hit us up with some texts, 715-830-1912, or find me on Twitter at DANKASPER. If the baseball trade deadline, say, was in a couple days, this week at some point, if the trade deadline was at some point this week, what would you do if you were the Brewers right now? If you were running the show, if you were Matt Arnold, the general manager, you're making the decisions when it comes to this roster. Are you a buyer? Are you a seller? Are you standing pat and just seeing how everything goes? I mean, what do you do? What do you do with this roster? One thing, I'm glad that it's not this week, because I have literally no flipping idea on what you would do. But if we had to decide this week on what to do if you are Matt Arnold and the man in charge of this ball club, I think you kind of have to stand pat. Maybe you make a minor, like a minuscule move, like where you're not giving up one of your top prospects for a player in return, but maybe just something for a little bit of more depth. But I don't think you put in a whole lot. And I don't think you necessarily sell at this point. Maybe I'm just being a little bit optimistic. I don't think this team can win a World Series. Can they make the playoffs? Yeah, sure. Then anything can happen after that. But I don't know. I think right now you got to kind of stand pat. I think you kind of have to stand pat and just roll the dice and see how you finish things up here. I mean, this was not a good weekend for the Brewers, and I hate to be, recency effect type of person and kind of live and die on almost every series, because let's face it, after the Baltimore series, you're feeling good. All right, great start to the month of June. This is going to be like April. May is going to be in the rearview mirror. We're going to create some gap in between us and the Pirates for first place and such. And then it's just you have a downer like you did against Oakland. Yeah, I hate to live and die with every series, but that's kind of when you're a team that's just floating a little bit above 500, that's kind of where you're at this point. Now, maybe by the time we're talking a week from today, after the series against Minnesota and after the series against Pittsburgh, previewing their series against Arizona, maybe it's a little bit different. But, man, we were looking at it in the first hour. The NL Central and the AL Central, both the Centrals. Whew. You want to talk about some average, poor, and average might be saying it nicely. You want to talk about some average or a little below average play. You got the Twins, who are in first place in the AL Central with a 500 record. Every other team's below 500. NL Central at least has two teams that are above 500 and have winning records, but then you got the last place Cardinals, who everybody I think is still, kind of like doing that little peek behind their shoulders, like, okay, yeah, we know the distance is there, but it's like you're in a race and you're like, okay, don't look too far back because that person's going to catch up to us soon. Like, I don't think any distance between the Cardinals and first place. Nobody's going to be like comfortable until it's like September, I don't know, 25th, and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games left, and the Cardinals are like 8.5 back, eight back, like officially eliminated or something like that. Nobody's going to be comfortable until the Cardinals at some point are officially eliminated. It's just because the history. It's there. So, I mean, at least you look at the NL Central. I guess if you want to be a little positive, I say 8 games back, 7 games back. My apologies if I said 8. It's 7. No, it's 8. Yeah, my bad. I was looking at the wild card thing there. 8 games back from the division. They're actually only 7 back from wild card. But at least every team in the NL Central, if you want to look at it from a positive side, is like, okay, not all the teams are out of it. AL, it's like, okay, you got 4 teams who are 5.5, within 5.5. Detroit's the 4th team. They're 5.5 back from first place. But then you got Kansas City, who's just, maybe the second worst team in Major League Baseball. We're looking just purely at the records. They got 18 wins, and Oakland now has 17 thanks to Brewers giving them 3. But you talk about 2 divisions now that are just like, bleh, yuck. And you look at this run upcoming here for the Brewers, and it's like, okay, first place team Minnesota. What can we do? What do we got in store for them? Corbin Burns is going to get start first game tomorrow. Then you come back home, and you got another, at least right now, first place team. That is the Pittsburgh Pirates. And then there's a decent chance, potentially, that when you're staying at home, but a week from today, Brewers will be going up against another first place team. Hold your butts, the Arizona Diamondbacks. And heck, who knows? Because after that Arizona series, it's on the road to Cleveland, and depending on what happens with Minnesota and Cleveland during that time frame, it might be 1, 2, 3, 4 straight series against first place teams for the Brewers. Now, are they the great first place teams? I mean, Pittsburgh, are they like, oh yeah, World Series probably contenders? No. Minnesota, probably not. Cleveland, no. Arizona, I'm sure there's a lot of skepticism about whether they are legit or not this year. But I don't know what to make of this team. I really don't. It's confusing as all get out. But under 100 days, or 100 games, under 100 games left in this Brewers schedule. Is it 96 right now? What point do you start to kind of look and for you personally decide or think, okay, this team's got to be a buyer. This team's got to be a seller or stand pat. I'm looking at, like, I know I might be kind of copping out here, but I to me, it's the All-Star break. I mean, right now, I know there's all those articles, there's those blogs, there's going to be talking points. It's all across. They started it about a couple weeks ago. Trade candidates for these teams, or these teams should be buyers. These teams should be sellers. Should the Diamondbacks really be buyers at this point? Can you believe in them? It's out there right now. And it's going to be out there. It's going to continue to be out there for the next month and a half. August 1st is a trade deadline, for crying out loud. So we've got plenty of time for this, but it's starting. It's already started out there. And for me personally, I kind of just look at the All-Star break as that time to maybe really decide, okay, what do we got? Should we put a couple chips in? Should we put a lot of chips in? Should we hold? Should we not do anything? Or should we sell off? Because by the time it's the Minnesota series coming up, 3 games against Pittsburgh, 3 games against Arizona, 3 games against Cleveland, 4 games against the Mets, which I don't know what to make of that series anymore either, because the Mets are one of the most disappointing teams in Major League Baseball. That's in New York. Another 3-game set against Pittsburgh. Then you're home up until the All-Star break against the Cubs for 4 games and the Reds for 3. I have no idea what this Brewers team is going to look like by the time July 10th hits around. No idea. I have no idea what they should do at this point. Part of me doesn't want them to sell because it's like, oh, you're still in it and just get into the postseason and you can make a run. And you're really, really banking on, what we saw from Philly and like Washington from a few years ago. That's not to say it will happen or could happen, but you're banking on that to happen. On the flip side, it's like, do we start to retool now and get our younger prospects and get these younger guys in for some playing experience and roll with the youngsters here? See what you got. Or just roll the dice and play with what you got right now and see what happens. I think we'll get a better idea maybe around the All-Star break. That's kind of my benchmark. Yours, you can let us know. All right, still looking for your favorite minor league, summer collegiate baseball team names out there. We got a lot of good ones. There's some good ones. I'm looking for the most fun, most creative ones out there. All right. I'm looking for those. So hit me up. I got my list. I'll tell you what that list is coming up here in just a few minutes, but I want to see if I missed any of them out there. So hit me up with a quick text, 715-830-1912. Quick break, and we will be back with more. We're already at the bottom of the hour, approaching the bottom of the hour here this morning. We'll be back after these few words.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
Right now at Hurlburt Heating and Plumbing, get a free indoor air quality package with a UV light and MERV 16 filter when you purchase a new heating and cooling system. Talk to Hurlburt today about no-cost consultations and no-interest financing, serving the Menominee, Eau Claire, and Hudson areas since 1959. Call Hurlburt Heating and Plumbing today and ask about your indoor air quality package. More details at hurlburthp.com. That's hurlburthp.com.
You want to feel important.
You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
You want to feel like you belong.
We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it.
We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers.
We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more.
When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it.
We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors.
From the lakeshores of Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota,
the fertile fields of Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa, to the wide open plains of North and South Dakota.
We are here for our hometowns.
And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard, aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
So, I have a question for all you guys out there. Why is it that I see you hauling all kinds of stuff in your trucks? Lumber, ATVs, furniture, and everything is strapped down tight, except you. I mean, come on, fellas. You're just as important as your buddy's blue plaid sofa. Buckle up.
Pickups rock. They also roll. Buckle up in your truck and arrive Alive, sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
A lot of folks around here are breathing easier because of Grace Home Respiratory. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory is a local company that puts customer service first. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory provides an array of medical equipment, services, and supplies to help their recovery and enhance their quality of life. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory has the experience and qualifications that exceed their expectations. So when you need home medical equipment and services, turn to Grace Home Respiratory not only for the equipment you need, but for their dedicated staff of respiratory therapists who are on call 24 hours a day. To find out more, call Grace Home Respiratory at 715-832-7377 or online at ghr-ec.com.
Grace Home Respiratory always has your health and safety as their top priority. Your expert when it comes to medical equipment and supplies. Choose Grace Home Respiratory.
All aboard! The Eau Claire Express are back. They're taking the field once again this summer, and you can support Eau Claire Express baseball at historic Carson Park all summer long. General admission tickets and grandstand tickets are available, and you can check out the rest of the 2023 Express schedule at eauclairexpress.com or on their Facebook page. Enjoy summer baseball with the Eau Claire Express.
If Culligan isn't treating your home's water, you likely have water problems all around you, like hard-to-clean chalky residue on your shower, faucets, and bath, stains around your sink drains, spots on your dishes and glassware, plus dull, dried-out hair and skin, and problems you don't see, like scaly buildup in the water heater and pipes. But have no fear, you're in the clear with Culligan Products and Service for all your residential and commercial water filtration needs.
Visit CulliganH2O.com for your local Culligan water dealer.
Get ready to save with half-off deals. A great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Now that we've gotten some decent weather, we're now more active outside, mowing the lawn, golfing, working on completing some projects. But with all that, that also means you're probably getting a little sore in the back, neck, and shoulders. It sounds like you need a quick adjustment, which means it's time to go visit Dr. Logan at Shepke Chiropractic. With us all being more active this time of year, chances are that we're going to need a few adjustments to our neck and back. That's why at Shepke Chiropractic, their goal is to work with each patient to achieve their goals and perform to their fullest potential in the capacity that their life requires. So don't let your neck or back pain slow you down on your busy summer. Let Shepke Chiropractic help you get adjusted so you're able to get those rounds of golf in or complete those outdoor projects this year. And Shepke Chiropractic has 2 locations to better serve you. All you have to do is visit ShepkeChiropractic.com to learn more and to schedule your appointment. Your journey to a healthier and more fulfilling life starts at Shepke Chiropractic.
He's smart, informed, entertaining, and he knows his sports. In other words, he's the kind of guy I'd like to settle down with in a small, cozy cabin in the woods. That is, if he was a woman with a case of cold ones. The Dan Kasper Show, weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
Are you starting to knock off some summer projects so far this year? We've been doing some at the good old homestead there, but we still got a couple big ones coming up here, and I'm excited to be working with Carpet City Flooring Center for a couple of them. We got some flooring projects we're going to be working with Carpet City Flooring Center. So, give you a little bit of a hint and a little bit of a tease here. Make sure you're following along on the socials for sure, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and that. We'll be talking about it on the air. We'll do all that, but I'm excited to be working, as always, with the fantastic people over at Carpet City Flooring Center. But if you're still trying to knock off some of your to-do lists on this 2023 summer, and if flooring's on that list, move it up a little bit there, all right? Because, well, chances are you have that room in your house that could use a good floor update. So why not make it easier on yourself with this project and go visit and chat with my friends from Carpet City Flooring Center. So, my grandma's even used them a couple times. I think grandma's used them more than I have at this point. I don't know. But my grandma loves them. I know you can love them too. So take a look at that to-do list this year and move up that replacing that floor in your home with the help from Carpet City Flooring Center. Whether it's for new carpet, tile, luxury vinyl planks, they got the best deals, best selection. If you happen to find a better deal elsewhere, they'll match, beat the price too. But the customer service is what separates Carpet City from the rest. Go visit them. They're fantastic, and awesome people to work with over there. All right, we got a good list brewing here with some of the best minor league baseball teams in the land. Of course, yep, we had a couple people saying the Utter Tuggers, Timber Rattlers, alternate names over there. That's a good one over there. We've had a couple more going with the Trash Pandas there. Somebody had mentioned the Rough Riders. That one's always stuck out to me a little bit too. I think they still have the Teddy Roosevelt logo for the hat there. That one always kind of stood out to me. I always liked that one over there too. We've got another one for the I think the Rocket City Trash Pandas is probably one of the most popular ones that's out there. We got what's this one? Oh, the Hartford Yard Goats. Somebody had texted in. Put your name on some of the text if you want to. There's still a couple. I think we got the regulars with all your names attached to it, but if you're still a newbie, if you wouldn't mind putting your name attached to a text so I can call you up by your nickname or your name. Akron Rubber Ducks was one that came through. Sugarland Space Cowboys. Never heard of that one. I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest. If I Googled anything on here and looked up some of them, I probably wouldn't have heard at least over 50% of them at this point. But I'll kind of go through. Okay, we'll go through a couple more here. Then I'll go through my list coming up here. But what are some of the other ones? I'm trying not to go through some of the duplicates because we have a lot of them here. Tennessee Smokies. Okay, I've never heard of that one before. We've got the Yard Goats again. I think actually, my memory serves me when our good friend Peter King stopped by last year. He was wearing a Hartford Yard Goats hat. Now that I think of it, I think that's what he was wearing. I'll have to double check that one. Quad Cities River Bandits. I've heard of them. Yep, I've heard of them. So, Carolina Mudcats. A buddy of mine was a big Carolina Mudcats fan. I think that's right. We got the Lansing Lugnuts. I've heard of them. I couldn't begin to pretend and tell you which affiliates they all belong to because I'd have to look them all up. But a couple of mine that these are just my personal picks, and a lot of them are just kind of have a little nostalgia or personal effects to it, I guess. But one of them is the Augusta Green Jackets. So weird golf, right? It's a golf play on words, but the logo is actually a green jacket, not the Masters green jacket, but Hornet and Beacon and all that. But play on words there. I love it. Knowing my Masters and golf background. Come on. I like it. Another one that stood out to me, well, I shouldn't say stood out to me, but one of my favorites, because I want to start, if I had an disposable income and I could just decorate this studio with league baseball cap, I would be minor league baseball caps all across here of the best, most creative, the most fun team names out there and the logos on them. One of them for me would easily, I mentioned the Spearfish Sasquatch. They're a collegiate summer league team. But the Eugene Emeralds. Yes, the Eugene Emeralds. You look at that, it's Sasquatch carrying a pine tree and looking like eat you to death with it. Great color scheme. You got the green, a little fluorescent yellow and such on there. But the Eugene Emerald, baby. Yeah. That's one of them that I would put on my list. I would love to own a hat. They are a high A ball club with the San Francisco Giants right now. So a lot of these team names, they've kind of gone back and forth between their affiliates and such. But the three, because we already mentioned the Trash Pandas, the Rough Riders, the Eugene Emeralds, and the Green Jackets were a few that I know off the top of my head would be on my short list of adding to best minor league baseball team names out there. I love the Udder Tuggers too, no doubt. I love the Timber Rattlers one out there. And I think, when it comes to minor league teams like that, you got to do stuff like this. It's all about selling the swag and creating some swag and getting some dough and getting some cash, right? That's what it's all about. Like I just said, if I had the indisposable income, I would decorate the studio in all minor league baseball team caps of like the best team names out there. I think that'd be flipping sweet to do something like that, but I don't have that kind of coin out there. So we got a few more. This is a popular topic kind of coming through here. So we've got a few more texts to catch up on. We've got Durham Bulls. Okay, well, that's a classic, right? I mean, that goes back to Bull Durham and such. So, yeah, I got the Durham Bulls on there. The Milkmen from Milwaukee. There's a good one. Okay, you want to throw the Milwaukee Milkmen in there? Okay, not bad. I'll be honest with you, I kind of forgot about those guys over there. So, a lot of Panda ones on here coming through. Another one for the Udder Tuggers. We've got the California Burritos. Okay, I'll be honest. Again, didn't hear that. The North. Here's a really interesting one. The Northwest Arkansas Growlin' Chickens. Okay. There you go. Pensacola Mullets. Business in the front, party in the back, baby. Okay. Frisco Corny Dogs. Maine Whoopie Pies. Oh, okay. All right. We got some good ones coming through here. Durham Lollygaggers. Is that a real one out there? Is that a play on from the Durham Bulls because of the movie, the Lollygaggers? I really hope so. I'll have to double check that one. I don't know that one, but somebody just texted that one in there too. So, all right, I like it. Keep these coming. These are fun. We'll take our final break here, but the NBA Finals, Game 5 tonight. Will the Nuggets wrap up this series, or do the Miami Heat have something in store for them? Do they have something in store for them tonight? Can they extend this series, or is it's over with? It's the Nuggets. The magic is done with the Miami Heat. Throw in the towels, sing the songs, give them the trophy. It's over. We'll hit that up and then cover some bases and all that fun stuff too. Final break. We'll be back in just a few minutes to wrap up things. Final call for some texts. 715-830-1912. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
You're listening to the Dan Kasper Show.
Summer projects are coming up. What's on your to-do list first this year? Well, if I had any say in your to-do list, it would be to update that flooring of yours. Maybe a new carpet in the bedroom, replacing your kitchen floor with some luxury vinyl planks, or some nice tile in the bathroom. Hey, I'm just saying, chances are that you have a room in your house that could use a good floor update. So why not make it easier on yourself with this project and visit my friends from Carpet City Flooring Center? I mean, my own grandma has used them twice in the past year to replace some flooring in her own home. So if my grandma likes them and trusts them, you can too. So why does Grandma like them so much though? It's the customer service. Top-notch customer service from when you walk into the store to the install team. Add in the best selection and prices and you have a home run. So take a look at that to-do list this year and move up replacing that floor in your home. Then head to Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire and chat with the awesome team there to find that perfect floor for your home and your budget. Because like my own grandma says to me all the time, because Grandma says so.
So, I have a question for all you guys out there. Why is it that I see you hauling all kinds of stuff in your trucks? Lumber, ATVs, furniture, and everything is strapped down tight. Except you. I mean, come on, fellas. You're just as important as your buddy's blue plaid sofa. Buckle up.
Pickups rock. They also roll. Buckle up in your truck and arrive alive. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Hi, this is Josh Smith from Union Trailer and Power Equipment. Looking to upgrade your mower this year? Now is the time to upgrade, as we have a large selection of Aaron's and Graylee's zero-turn mowers in stock with some great sale prices along with 0% for 48 months or large cash discount. Get into a new Aaron's zero-turn mower for as little as $92 a month with no money down. Don't forget about our free delivery within 20 miles of Union Trailer and Power Equipment, located right in the Chippewa Valley. As the only Steel Elite dealer in the area, we have a gold certified tech to work on all the steel chainsaws, backpack blowers, string trimmers, and any other two-cycle engine issues you may have. Give us a call today at 715-930-1066. We've expanded our rental department this year. We'll be rented on many different trailer options with skid steers and mini excavators as well. Give our rental department a call today to schedule your next rental. Union Trailer and Power Equipment, a local family-owned business located right in the Chippewa Valley off Highway 53 at the Melby Street exit. Visit us online at uniontrailer.com.
Quality products, expert service, Union Trailer Sales.
You want to feel important.
You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
You want to feel like you belong.
We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it.
We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers.
We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more.
When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it.
We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors.
From the lakeshores of Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota,
The fertile fields of Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa, to the wide open plains of North and South Dakota.
we are here for our hometowns.
And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard, aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
All aboard! The Eau Claire Express are back. They're taking the field once again this summer, and you can support Eau Claire Express baseball at historic Carson Park all summer long. General admission tickets and grandstand tickets are available, and you can check out the rest of the 2023 Express schedule at eauclaireexpress.com or on their Facebook page. Enjoy summer baseball with the Eau Claire Express.
Economy Furniture in Chippewa Falls is something that you gotta see. The biggest selection for miles around, 2 jam-packed floors of quality. At Economy, you don't have to wait for a sale. It can be yours immediately. Everyday low prices on the best brand names, and we finance it interest-free. Furnishing the Chippewa Valley since 1950. Economy Furniture's for me.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go, so I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partner with Beacon. With the new Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. It's like having my Beacon rep in my pocket 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through June, purchase through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Beacon, always building.
Stand by as we continue our dig for the truth and the toy at the bottom of the cereal box. Oh, got it. The Dan Kasper Show.
wrapping things up here, we've got Kevin also saying the El Paso Chihuahuas and the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. There's a couple names out there too. Oh, we might have to make this maybe we'll make this a podcast episode with Brandon top 5. We usually do our top 5s out there, so maybe we'll do a kind of a top 5 thing with this out there. Let's cover some bases and wrap things up here. We got about 10 minutes to the top here. You had the Canadian Open. I'm sure maybe some of you have seen this already, but if you haven't, what's kind of trending with the Canadian Open here is that Taylor, Nick Taylor became the first Canadian in 69 years to win his National Open, but that might not be the biggest story on it. You've got this his fellow golfer, his fellow Canadian golfer, Adam Hadwin, who was celebrating on the green there with his fellow Canadian with the win. Dude got laid out by security. If you haven't seen the video, security, just laid him out there. Hadwin had some fun with it. He posted a picture of the tackle, tweeting, "Put it in the Louvre" over there. So, but that was probably maybe one of the biggest things to come away from that. But nonetheless, it was pretty darn. Yeah, he had some. It was. I thought it was kind of funny, and he had some fun with it too. So it was cool. It was cool. We talked a lot about the Brewers and their epic failure this past weekend, going up against the Oakland Athletics. Off day today, as they get set to face the Minnesota Twins tomorrow. At least initially, the Brewers not over there yet because, Craig Counsell wasn't managing the game yesterday. His son was graduating high school, so he went to ceremony. But I just saw on Twitter he's over at state high school baseball because his son is playing in the tournament. So he's taking that on in as his son plays for Whitefish Bay, the Whitefish Bay Blue Dukes. So maybe heading on over to Minnesota later on today or such. But that's where Craig is, at least early on this morning. So and I know that's still, that was one of the things at the beginning of the season, with Craig Counsell's future with the Brewers. Could he maybe take some time off and watch his son play collegiate baseball? Would he remain with the Brewers, potentially go somewhere else? I don't know. But I know, was it a couple years ago? He was, I think one of his sons was playing for Wilmer. Was it the Wilmer Stingers? But he was in Carson Park in attendance watching a couple games there. It was during the All-Star break, I believe, over there too. So, all right. What else do we want to catch up? We said NBA Finals tonight. Will the Nuggets get it done? Game 5. I feel like the Heat are going to win tonight, but then they're going to lose the next one. So Nuggets in 6, because everybody picks when it comes to NBA series. Everybody picks in 6. So Heat win tonight, then the Nuggets win Game 6. That's my pick. But that game is tonight. And then tomorrow we'll have the Stanley Cup Final. Vegas, if they win, they'll hoist Lord Stanley's Cup there. But we'll get to that coming up tomorrow. We talked a little Steve Stricker, AmFam Championship. Anybody go to that? Anybody of our listeners go down? I know that the celebrities were Derek Jeter again. They had Michael Phelps because they still do the celebrity foursome there. So Zach Johnson was one of the golfers. I had to look it up. Zach Johnson's still in his 40s, I think. Andy North was also a golfer there too. So, but yeah, I was like, man, Zach Johnson, what? But so Steve Stricker playing some really, really darn good golf with the U.S. Senior Open coming up in just a couple of weeks over at Century World in Stevens Point. So talked a little bit about Djokovic getting the 23 Grand Slam titles, now passing Federer, Nadal, and all that. He's sitting alone at the top at 23, getting that French Open victory yesterday. Can anybody catch up to him? Any of the youngsters out there? Any of the youngsters that we should be paying attention to that maybe could go on a run like this? You look at tennis, even on the women's side with Serena, and then you look at the men's side with Nadal and Federer and such. Had some amazing talents over these last years. Amazing individual talent. Best of all time. Some of the best of all time. But, yeah, that happened yesterday too. I feel like it kind of got swept under the rug a little bit. Not initially, but then it's maybe not the top story, top story out there now, but should still get its credit because it's well deserved. It is U.S. Open week for golf over there at the Los Angeles Country Club. This is the first major after the PGA and LIV merger announcement. So I'm sure that'll be a talking point for a lot of the golfers over there as they start to do some media sessions and such. I'm sure that'll be like question number one for almost every single one of these players. But if you're looking at early odds, if you're into that, we'll make our picks on Thursday. But if you're looking at the early odds, Scotty Scheffler, plus 750. This is according to Action Network. Plus 750. John Rahm, plus 900. Rory's a plus 1,000. Followed by Brooks, plus 1,100. But the U.S. Open will be in California, Los Angeles, California. But it is this week, later on this week. So U.S. Open week here. But we'll, again, make some picks. But think about who you're going to pick and keep that in the back of your mind. And when we do some picks, we'll get to that on Thursday. But send those puppies on over. All right? Send those babies on over. As we mentioned, again, no Brewers game today. So tomorrow, first pitch will be at 6:40. I know some of you are going on our bus that's going to be going over there. But maybe some of you just going over there too. Quick trip, quick drive over there to the west, catching a quick Brewers-Twins game and such. It's easier to go over there than, I should say, it's quicker to go over there than heading down to Milwaukee and such. But it's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks here for the Crew because really they could be going up against first place team. And, by the time they play Cleveland next weekend, just maybe another first place team, depending on the Twins and how Cleveland does. So it might be a little bit of a stretch of division first place teams. May not be the best division first place teams over there, but never know. So, but off day today before they get ready for that Twins series over there. I know we got in the NFL side of things, we're starting to get close to some mandatory mini camps coming up here. One of the big names out there that reportedly won't be at his mandatory mini camp is Saquon Barkley, running back for the Giants. He's under that franchise tag right now. So, like a lot of people with that are under franchise tags, most of them don't show up for OTAs or mandatory minicamps and such, and put Saquon into that category. New York has a mandatory minicamp on Tuesday and Wednesday, so that's tomorrow and Wednesday. And Barkley can't and won't attend because he hasn't signed that franchise tag yet. So, but you listen to him talk. He was talking at his football camp, and he was asked about how optimistic he was about getting a long-term deal done with the Giants. He said, I don't know. I feel like he will. But again, it's that whole, how much money do you give a running back? How much money do you give long-term running backs? The running back position has just been kind of devalued. You look at Cook across the border here, Dalvin Cook, Minnesota Twins moving on from him. They couldn't find a trade partner. So they're releasing him, or they have released him. It's just, if you're a running back, you've got like one contract. Now, Aaron Jones, he signed his contract, restructured a little bit, took a little bit less money and such, but you've got like one contract if you're a running back, odds are. Sometimes you might get a running back who gets a couple of pretty decent contracts, but that's why you see these running backs, when they're eligible for a new contract, they're going to hold out. They're going to sit out because they know they've got one shot at landing a big payday because their careers, the years that are attached to it, they're not that long. Some aren't. Most aren't. Some can go a little bit longer. But they got that one chance to cash in big time. But, you look at Minnesota. I don't want to get into – we only got about a minute left here anyways. But, I don't know, this NFC North, you look at Minnesota, they moved on from Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen's out of there, Lance Kendricks, Zadarius Smith. Now you got Dalvin Cook that's out of there. So, team that, how many wins? What was it, 12 wins last year? Moving on some big-time players. Where will Dalvin Cook go? Everybody's got kind of focused on two teams right now, Miami and Denver, it seems like. Maybe throw in Buffalo in there too. And speaking of football and free agent visits, it looks like DeAndre Hopkins is visiting with the Titans today. Visiting with the Tennessee Titans today. So, all right. Again, shot clock is going to cut me off here in about a minute here. What was this? Oh, here's an A.J. Dillon thing on here. Oh, A.J. Dillon told Jason Wilde, I love Green Bay. Green Bay knows that. I love the Packers. The Packers know that. I play here until I can't run anymore. I'll pick up long snapper or whatever it is when I start slowing down. But there's only so much I can control. Talking about how much he wants to stay in Green Bay. All right, you got a guy that'll play long snapper. It's like a career right there for A.J. Dillon. Have a good Monday.
You're listening to the Dan Patrick Show on WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1.
You're out, you're about, but you want your Dan Patrick. Well, good news, he goes everywhere with you. If you missed the show, you can podcast it. If you want to see the show, just go to Peacock and we stream it live every weekday. Watch past episodes too. The Dan Patrick Show, available anywhere you are, any way you want it. Dan Patrick. Welcome to the Dan Patrick Show. Commissioner